Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everybody out there, and welcome to the IM6 and MI6 Christmas special. Along with Ben Kurse, I'm Lauro Antonio. We'll be joined by Isaiah Leong and various members of this IM6 and MI6 crew on our show later as the night goes on. So, Ben, you're getting ready for Christmas here, man. I mean, you're in the Christmas spirit here, and I can't wait to see what Isaiah wears here tonight.
Yeah, man. Great to be on the Christmas special, repping my stuff, getting ready for this holiday season. It's one of my favorite times, if not my favorite of the year. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to talk about what we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, we have to start with the breaking news as Trevor Bauer has been officially reinstated by Major League Baseball. His suspension got reduced to 194 games. The Dodgers have not commented publicly about if they're going to release Trevor Bauer, but insiders say that it's all in the likelihood that the Dodgers are going to release Trevor Bauer. What is your thoughts overall on this story of Trevor Bauer? You know, this situation can't get away from him. I mean, look, Trevor Bauer wasn't really all his fault, no, but he should have not done it.
Yeah, I mean, my overall reaction to it is, I think that he shouldn't be playing back in baseball, but he's of course still a very talented pitcher. I think that obviously we'll have to kind of see what moves forward with it. But I think that if you're the Dodgers, you release him, you move on for him. You don't want that just you don't want the distraction in your clubhouse. And if another team takes him, by all means, go ahead and take him. But I wouldn't take him just to take him. He has a ton of baggage, and I would be very careful if I'm the team out there. So it's obviously something to monitor if you're the Dodgers, and just you have to take a look at it real quick.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what Isaiah says about it when we talk about that. But I do think that Trevor Bauer's days as a Dodger is numbered.
Me too. I don't think that he's going to be around, if any, come the baseball season. So we'll have to see in terms of where things kind of go down the road here.
Anyways, here now we go to the NFL, and we have to talk about the Jags and the Jets game. I mean, it was one of the worst games that we have seen of Zach Wilson. I mean, he got benched again, but the Jags, they're looking to win out, and this team is hungry for an improbable AFC South title.
Yeah, my overall reaction was, man, this was the complete disaster for Zach Wilson. If there's any trust in him and the coaching staff after him getting benched a couple weeks ago for maybe to kind of learn kind of from what a lot of the quarterbacks around him been doing, just kind of everything is going on. And I thought that he had a couple of good things last week against the Lions. Kind of early couple drives. Like, oh, maybe he's starting to kind of figure things out a little bit, but I need to see it consistently. And the second half last week, was very up and down, but tonight was just a lot of kind of what we see in the beginning part of the New York Jets, Zach Wilson. The offensive line was a little poor tonight, so it wasn't all on him, but he made a lot of poor Zach Wilson throws, and the Jets got to the point where they had to basically move on from him in the third quarter. They couldn't move the football at all. He basically threw less than 100 yards in this game. So there's a lot going on, I think, with the Jets, and kind of having to see, I'm not going to go full on bust yet for the Jets and Zach Wilson, but there's a lot of bust potential right now where they're just not seeing any consistency with a quarterback that they're really high on and picking for. And I think that if you're a Jet fan, you should be really concerned because you put a lot of stock into this kid. You had a lot of hype for this kid, and he's just not showing it. He just doesn't seem like he's comfortable. He doesn't seem like he's ready. And you have the receivers around him. You have Garrett Wilson, who's been incredible this year. You have guys like Braxton Berrios. You have a couple of guys that are fast, can make plays. And you have a great arm and stuff like that, but it all comes down to instincts. It all comes down to this right here, the pre-snap stuff. And I just don't see it right now with Zach Wilson. Every single time that he gets close, by a defender, he panics or, usually kind of I'd say the best parts of Zach Wilson is when he gets out of the pocket and he goes to his right hand side. But there's no consistency at all with this game. And if you turn to the Jaguars, Isaiah, I know that you're probably excited about the Jags tonight, but I picked the Jaguars. I just thought that, with Zach Wilson, the pouring rain, I thought that this was a favorable match for the Jaguars. I still really like how the way that they've been playing. I thought that they continue tonight with Doug Peterson and the way that he's really unlocking Trevor Lawrence's potential this year. And yeah, he didn't throw any touchdown passes, but for the way that Zach Wilson was playing this game tonight, if you're the Jaguars, you basically just had to manage the clock, run the football, play the strengths of your game, and win with your special teams. Pin the ball deep, make them go long field because they really weren't doing that a lot in this game until the new other kid came in for the Jets and where they didn't even score. They went for it on fourth down because it was already 16-3. The game was out of reach. So the Jaguars basically came in. They made a statement. They're 7-8 now, potentially with reportedly of Ryan Tannehill potentially being off for the season. You're looking at potentially that Tennessee Titans Jaguars game going to be down to that last game. I wouldn't be shocked if they flipped potentially to Sunday Night Football with the big implications there. But the Jaguars, I thought, I thought for a fact they're going to get this one tonight with kind of a lot of things going on. And if you're the Jets, I would say that your playoff hopes are pretty much slim tonight. I mean, there is a chance you're 7-8. You have to have a lot of kind of things go right. But with the way that I saw things tonight, it took a huge hit. And Zach Wilson continues to really be a disaster this year.
Yeah, I mean Zach Wilson has been bad this year. I mean, he didn't have a good rookie season too, but I still think if you look at it, you're not ready to to label Zach Wilson a bust.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's bust yet. I just think that you pick him number 2 overall, right? And the Trevor Lawrence, a lot of people were like last year in terms of, oh man, could this be potential bust? Trevor Lawrence is the number 1 overall pick, and you saw from last year, they had Urban Meyer. It just didn't seem like Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence had that specific connection. Doug Peterson is a very good offensive play caller. I thought that he was really good with the Philadelphia Eagles, with guys like Carson Wentz, a couple other guys like that. And he's just really doing a great job, Trevor Lawrence, of just being confident out there. His pre-snaps have been great, taking a lot more less sacks, throwing the ball away a lot more this year when under pressure. Zach Wilson this year, when he's under pressure, I mean, he's just not getting the ball out. I mean, he panics. I hate putting knack on Mac Jones row too, but Mac Jones this year has done a lot of that too. His guys aren't open. He's not doing a great job of getting the ball out quick. Yes, obviously you don't want to harm it in terms of throwing in harm's way, but you have to be able to get it out quick, and that's obviously a timing thing. That's a timing thing for a quarterback. And Trevor Lawrence has shown to me that from his first year to the second year, he's seeing what the pre-snap is, seeing what the overall reads are going to, each play, and he's done a great job of finding the reads before the snap is going. And that's something that Zach Wilson has to figure out. Zach Wilson has to figure out in terms of being able to manage a game great, which I haven't seen much yet. Heck, I was at the game at Gillette when Zach Wilson was there, and when it was, I don't know. And if the Jets had any competent quarterback play, I don't see us winning that football game because we weren't moving the football at all in that game against the Jets. And the only reason why that we pretty much won that game was obviously one, because of that punt return, and two, because Zach Wilson is just not a great quarterback at all. I mean, he is. I mean, if you look at just up and down wise, I mean, heck, I mean, wouldn't you be a little relieved though with the way that Zach Wilson's been playing? If we had him on the Patriots, I mean, man, we could be in a lot worse of a situation right now. I'll tell you that right now. The Jet fans are really down on Zach Wilson, and deservedly so. And they even asked Zach Wilson after this game about what he thought, and he was saying about the boos and stuff like that, and they deserve it. I mean, heck, if you're the number 2 overall pick, you have playoff implications on the line. I mean, because the Jets essentially they win, then you have a decent chance. and you put up a no-show. You threw under 100 yards, you threw a pick, and there's nothing to me, at least, that even if Mike White is a great quarterback and stuff like that, which he could be, he has a lot more potential than the other guys. I mean, Joe Flacco obviously is a veteran, stuff like that. You have the other guy, but you have the number 2 overall pick. Robert Saleh, of course, is going to try to keep on. If it's an off game here and there, you don't understand. Obviously people can have their off games. This is not overall off game for Zach Wilson. We've seen it for weeks and weeks and weeks. There's no more excuses of the way that you've been playing. There's just none. And I'm not even a Jet fan. I'm a Patriot fan. But if I was a Jet fan out there, they deservedly have the right to be pissed because you put a lot of stock in this kid. Yes, your offensive line better be up and down and stuff like that. But you're missing throws that people shouldn't be missed at all. Taking the short reads, taking the hot reads. He's just missing a lot. And like I said, there should be a panic in terms of Zach Wilson. I'm not saying he's going to be a full-on bust just yet, but it's just not looking good right now.
It's not really looking good for Zach Wilson. And talk about future in question for the Jets. We'll have to get Isaiah's thoughts on it when he comes on air. But we're going to stay on the Jags topic right now and talk about, and here's a question here. And I bet everybody wants to know this. If Doug Peterson leads the Jags to an improbable AFC South title, should he win Coach of the Year over Eagles head coach Sirianni? And I'll give you my answer on this. I would say, heck yes. I mean, look, I think Nick Sirianni has done a great job with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, second year, he has turned Jalen Hurts into a Pro Bowl quarterback. And then you talk about Doug Peterson being out of the league in 21 and then coming back in 22 to come into a situation where he can unleash Trevor Lawrence's potential, in which he has done so. The Jaguars had a rough stretch where they were like 3-7 and all that. The Titans, this team is collapsing. The Ryan Tannehill's injury has kind of opened the floodgates for the Jaguars to potentially steal this division away, and we might have a new king in the AFC South. So Ben, what are your thoughts? Do you think if Doug Peterson leads the Jags to a Cinderella run AFC South title, do you think that he should win Coach of the Year over Nick Sirianni?
I mean, he has considerations, at least to me, too. Sirianni, of course, has put up a great culture there for the Eagles after Peterson left, and he's had a great rapport with Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's done a great job week in, week out. Really, just buying into that culture in terms of how the way that they've been playing offensively, defensively, just consistent overall. Yeah, they've been a little more beatable as the last couple of weeks, but I think that's really just of what they can do in terms of handling adversity. They've done a great job, even when things might be hitting them. They keep on finding ways to win, and that's how good football teams do. They find good ways to win games, and obviously, I think that they're going to go to Gardner Minshew this weekend, and I think it's a good idea that Sirianni did that because I think you want to rest Jalen Hurts for the playoff run where he deserves it. I mean, they're already in the playoffs as it is right now, so. And in terms of Peterson, I mean, yeah, he deserves it. I mean, the Jaguars have really been in the basement dweller for years and years and years, and they needed to find that culture. They needed to find that. Obviously, first they found the quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, which I think that a lot of people last year kind of understood in terms of what was going on. But this year, he's really made that huge jump, and now you're going to potentially see a guy now in the AFC South where he's going to be getting better and better and better because it's only his second year, and you could see what he can show you as his potential as a number 1 overall pick.
We will get. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, he has every tools. At least to me, he has the head, he has the accuracy, he has the arm. He has the mobile talent ability too. I mean, there's a lot of plays tonight even where it's 2nd and 5, 3rd and 10. And, he was able to use his own read to his ability. And, he can move too. So any single time we have a pocket quarterback where you have the ability to also be mobile as well to your ability, it just makes it so much, harder for defenses to kind of scheme in terms of what you're trying to do, to beat your defense. So, but I got to give another coach, credit for potential coach of the year, and that's Dan Campbell from the Detroit Lions. This guy has been, yeah, he could be looked at as absolute, you can call him anything you want in the world. He's definitely out there for sure in terms of an overall person. He has a goofy, fun, it's just very uncoached like, but he just brings it out in the players. He's done it, ever since we were 1-5, 1-6. I mean, if you ask me after 1-6 the Lions, they're obviously doing the Lions things, yeah, they've been great story and stuff like that, but how there's no way. And then they started to kind of get a couple wins, they're like, maybe you played against bats. Yeah, no. And now you're just like, man, Jared Goff and that offense is legit. They're not just good. They're just not nice. They are legit good offense. They're one of the top offenses for the first couple weeks. They brought back Jamison Williams, who they drafted, coming back from injury. They had Josh Reynolds. They have DeAndre Swift. They had Jamal Williams, who's been one of the top touchdown rushers in the league. And they have, they even moved on from Hawkinson, their tight end. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's been an absolute underrated stud, who I love in my fantasy league. They just have guys out there. I mean, of course, their defense, they have to work on their defense because it's young. They have a lot of holes in their defense. But Dan Campbell has gotten this team now into a position where he not only could get them in a prime position for a playoff run, he has the potential to come out of a 1-6 start to be potentially in one of the wild card spots for this year's playoffs. And I think that even if the Lions somehow got in and they potentially just got walloped in the first round, this is absolutely must win in terms of the Lions, in terms of where they came from for so long to where they're going to be now, because they're just going to keep on getting better and better and better. They have a lot of young talent. I think if you're Jared Goff right now, I think Jared Goff and Dan Campbell, you keep Jared Goff at least for next season. Maybe you try to find that next quarterback as a young guy, because Jared Goff has at least shown to me for this year that he's a systemized quarterback. He reminds me kind of like Jimmy G. You put him into the right system, basically with all the weapons that you just need around him, you're basically just the distributor. Just get the ball to the guys that you can and just let them do the work. You don't have to go like a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen where you have to go all the way across the middle of the field doing all these crazy plays. No, you're just going to basically just go in the pocket, find your reads, and find the right guys. So outside Sirianni and Peterson lower, like you said, I think Dan Campbell was another guy you really had to take into consideration for some Coach of the Year votes.
Oh, absolutely. I've always liked Dan Campbell coaching the Lions. He's has this rah personality. He could say stuff that can throw people off a little bit, but I don't think he means it by that. But anyways, here we have Utkarsh joining, but we will get Utkarsh on here. So Utkarsh, stand by. We will get you on for the trivia portion for this show. So be patient and we'll go from there. So anyways, here, Ben, moving on along on our program. We are going to talk about here the Jags or the Titans. Who do you have more confidence in taking home the AFC South? I'm going to go with the Jags here. I mean, Tennessee, I didn't even pick them to win in the first place. I wanted the Colts to win the division because Matt Ryan came in. Matt Ryan was going to be the guy that was going to make the Colts contenders. But at the same time, Ben, the Colts have fallen off a cliff, and now they're going to start Nick Foles for the remainder of the season, which we'll get to in a little bit. So, and as for the Titans, who I like on the Titans is their coach, Mike Vrabel, who I think has done a great job. Ryan Tannehill, I do like, but I'm not really a fan of him because Ryan Tannehill is hit or miss. He's a game manager, but he's not the type of quarterback that fits my style of play, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Because Tennessee is more one-dimensional. They run the football. It's Derrick Henry or bust. I love Derrick Henry. I mean, not to be biased because he went to my college football school at Alabama. I mean, I don't mean to be biased about him, but I really think he's one of the best running backs in the league. But if you talk about the best quarterback in the AFC South, I think Trevor Lawrence has found that in that identity for the AFC South. I think he's the best quarterback in that division this year. So I am more confident in Jacksonville over Tennessee. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think that right now, with the way things are looking, with the way things are playing, yes, I like probably Variable as the better coach than Peterson. But if you're looking at right now the ability offensively, in terms of both offensively and defensively, I'm going to go Jacksonville because, yes, you have Derrick Henry, who is by far probably the best player from each of the teams. But in football and in the playoffs, you got to be both offensive dimensional and defensive dimensional, and you can't just rely on your running back to do everything. You know, defensively, defenses are going to start to scheme you, even though that he's such a good guy that he could probably beat a lot of defensive, what they're trying to do defensively. But the Jaguars have the talent around where you have guys like ETN, you have Zay Jones, you have Christian Kirk, you have Marvin Jones, and you have the ability with Trevor Lawrence with the way that he's playing his second year, one of the best offensive rating quarterback since, like the bye week, I would say. So, I mean, he's playing at a high confident level. And no matter if you had Ryan Tannehill healthy or you had Malik Willis healthy or not, I've picked Trevor Lawrence, over those two, I think. No, not a knock on Tannehill because I think he's a decent quarterback. He's not going to be the quarterback that will take you over the top, but he's not going to be a quarterback that's going to be like Zach Wilson, bad. He's going to be kind of just in the middle, just he'll kind of be just a quarterback where you can have in your team. He can probably get you about 9-10 wins, probably 8 to 9 wins, 10 maybe the ceiling, but nothing crazy after that. But you put on from Ryan Tannehill to Malik Willis. It's a tough task. It's a really tall task for a rookie, especially if it's a massive playoff implication type game. You just don't know how he's going to be. Yes, he has a lot of potential in terms of coming out in terms of college, but we haven't really seen a consistency yet with Willis where he could play week in week out. And now he's going to have the chance to maybe put on a showcase where it's more of a showcase than not, where he's going to have to potentially go and potentially win a must-win game for the division over probably Jacksonville. But yeah, if you ask me, Lou, right now, I'm going to go Jacksonville. I just really like both their balance offensively right now and their defense. And obviously, they got the great coach in Peterson.
Yeah, Doug Peterson was the right hire for the Jags. We said it from the get-go. Who would have thought that Doug Peterson was going to come out of his one-year sabbatical to be the head coach of the Jags? And we want to welcome Isaiah Leung to the program here. And we also have a new member, Husma Shah, who we tried to get on here. How are you doing, Husma? How are you doing, Isaiah? How are you guys doing tonight?
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, y'all. It's a great day. It's a great, Christmas came early. How about them Jags? Let me say that. The AFC South champions are looking more likely and likely as the minutes pass by. I'm just doing good. I'm happy to be a part of this Christmas special. I got my Niners Christmas hat on. That was like the only Santa hat that I could find. I'm wearing an ugly sweater right now. I got, these little cute decorations that we got here. You got the Santa, you got the candy canes and all, but I'm ready, man. I'm in this festive spirit, and it's even more festive since the Jaguars just won tonight and potentially sealed the AFC South deal.
Anyways, here, Hasma, welcome to our show here. I know we've wanted you to come on to one of our sports programs, and you said you were into football. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
And tell us your favorite sports and all that. Do you follow football and basketball and baseball, or you're mostly a football guy?
I'm mainly a football fan.
All right, so we're going to get your thoughts on this Thursday night game. We have a lot to be talking about here. And anyways, here, Isaiah, since you just came on, Ben and we were just talking about how the Jags won this game. And then as for the Jets, it's a lot of questions surrounding Zach Wilson and the Jets right now. And what was your reaction to the game?
I have a couple of reactions to the game. Number one was that I feel more confident that the Jags are going to win the AFC South after especially after the events that have transpired in this week and in tonight's game. I mean, Trevor Lawrence looks like a completely different player than he did last year. And now we're seeing, I know a lot of people were in a rush to call Trevor Lawrence a bust and say, oh, he sucks. And I mean, the guy does not even belong in the CFL, let alone the NFL. And, you know, people were saying, like, why was this kid even a number one pick? And now you're seeing that the reason why Lawrence struggled last year was not because he sucks or because he's a bust. It's the fact that Urban Meyer should never have been in the NFL to begin with. And I think most importantly, it's because Darrell Bevell is an awful offensive coordinator, an awful game planner, an awful play designer, and he should never, ever, ever hold an NFL offensive coaching job again. I mean, this guy, I like the guy. He runs an extinct offense. We saw what he did in Seattle. Let me say this, the Marshawn Lynch Seattle Seahawks offense, where it was power run, power run, power run, and you throw short passes, that offense does not work in this day and age in the NFL. You have to have motion. You got to have, you know, some creativity. You got to have some trickery in this scheme. It just doesn't work. You look at the teams that run that type of Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll style power run offense. You know, you look at the Seahawks, you know, they went, you know, down ever since the Super Bowl. The 49ers under Harbaugh, they went down. You look at, you know, other teams that tried it. You know, the Tennessee Titans, they have a great back in Derrick Henry. He does a great job, but when the teams stack the box, guess what happens? They just stuff the run. They make your quarterback beat you, and that quarterback just can't. And then you also look at, you know, unfortunately, Ben and Loro, I see that with your Patriots, you know, going that run-heavy, power run type of an offense with Matt Patricia, and you see the results right now in New England. That style of offense just doesn't work nowadays in the NFL. You know, I do agree, power running wins in the NFL, but you have to have power running, plus you have to have a lot of creativity and motion nowadays to win, especially offensively in the NFL. And you look at what Doug Peterson has done. He's completely restored Trevor Lawrence's confidence. He has built an offense designed around Trevor's strengths, which is another thing that I really don't get about the Darrell Bevell, Urban Meyer year, was that Urban Meyer wanted to run some of the stuff that made Trevor Lawrence very successful at Clemson, like the RPOs and stuff like that. But Darrell Bevell never wanted to run it because he wanted to stick to his offense, which is a completely awful idea, because when you are a coach, you're supposed to put your players in position to succeed, and you're supposed to work around their talents and their strengths. So that was coaching malfunction by Darrell Bevell. And, you know, you look at it now, Trevor Lawrence looks like a completely different player. Tonight, he looked completely confident. He looked like a guy that was the number one pick. I know, you know, it was raining heavily and the score doesn't show that he played a great game. But if you look at it, he actually played a great game. You know, the guy was moving in and out of the pocket. He was making critical third down throw after throw after throw. And he put up pretty good numbers against the Jets defense that is ranked in the top 3 and was shutting down everybody in the NFL. So I love what I'm seeing from the Jags offense. They have a really good offense, you know, a lot of great playmakers. ETN is a beast, man, in the running game. Marvin Jones, you know, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, even Dan Arnold, very complimentary pieces that have really come up big for the Jacksonville Jaguars on offense. And then defensively, you know, the Jags defense, I'll give them credit. They swarmed after Zach Wilson and that poor Jets offensive line all game long, and they really did a great job in shutting down that offense, which led to Wilson getting benched late in the game. So I got to give them that. I don't know how their defense is going to be moving forward, because, you know, their defense has been very shaky this season. It's kind of been like 50-50. It's kind of been inconsistent. But this is hard for me to say this because I know Ben and Loro know how big of a fan of Zach Wilson I am. You know, it's hard for me to say this. But I gotta say this. I think Zach
Yeah.
Wilson's days in New York are done. I think that Zach Wilson started his last game for the New York Jets. And I think that Zach Wilson's days as a starter in general are in jeopardy. And I remember saying, like, looking back on our pre-draft show, that year's draft, I remember raving about Zach Wilson and saying, "Oh my gosh, we're looking at the second coming of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen here in the NFL." And this probably is up there with I'm picking Detroit to win the AL Central take in terms of my worst takes of all time. So yeah, Zach Wilson broke my heart tonight. He made me cringe after every play. I mean, the poor kid was getting booed left and right, man. He definitely needs a fresh start. He won't be with the New York Jets after this season. And unfortunately, I don't know how he recovers from this, because not only did really horrible, but you got benched for a guy in Shrevler who plays running back a lot. So, I mean, I don't know how you can recover from that. His confidence is completely dashed, and it's hard for me to say this, but I was wrong about Zach Wilson. I'll give you guys that. I was wrong about Zach Wilson. I'm conceding on him. He's not a good quarterback, and I remember even saying, like, "Oh, Tom Brady better watch out, because that's going to be the best quarterback in AFC East in a couple of years." So all of that, those bold statements have come back to haunt me and bite me badly. And I'm getting cold for Christmas because of that. Laurel, we can't hear you, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're having some technical difficulties on Laurel's side. Laurel, try to mute yourself and then unmute yourself. See what happens. Try it now.
We can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear Laurel at the moment. Try to come back in, Laurel, or get out of the stream and come back in. Maybe that'll work. But for the time being, folks, Hamza, since you just hopped on as well, I'm assuming, Ben, you gave your take about the Jaguars-Jets game already?
Yeah, I did. My overall reaction when I was telling the Lover was, I think that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win the AFC South. And Isaiah, I know that you went from all your coldest takes to Hamza. It was nice to meet. It's nice to meet you, man. By the way, I'm Ben. Isaiah, of course, Hamza. If you don't know, he has a ton of crazy takes, and one of the biggest takes that he had from last year was the Jacksonville Jaguars would win the AFC South. And of course, everybody looked at him laughing at him and thought he was crazy. And obviously, it didn't come to fruition last year, but he tried to go again this year and just like, we'll try it again. I think that Jacksonville and for a while, it was like, oh, it's not going to look great. It's going to be the same exact crap and stuff like that. But then, we got to a point where, man, Trevor Lawrence, that is the key word right here. Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson are the two biggest reasons to the success of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence has beaten a couple big teams down the stretch. He's came back against the Dallas Cowboys. He's beaten the Baltimore Ravens. He's beaten a very good defense in the New York Jets tonight. Overall, I agree with Isaiah. He is a much different quarterback than what I saw last year. And I think that this year is basically the quarterback I think a lot of Jaguar fans envisioned that Trevor Lawrence would become as a number first overall pick. And I think what he's done is a lot of great poise as his overall guy. And I think that, he's going in without any fear out there, at quarterback. So he's done a great job. Doug Peterson's really helped him along this time compared to what Urban Meyer was doing last year. And I think that with the Jets, I mean, Isaiah, I appreciate your overall honesty with Zach Wilson. It's just Zach Wilson, I think, to me, He just needs a new fresh start. I think that maybe that New York might just not be the place for him. And it's okay because sometimes, athletes just can't handle the big bright lights. Um, I would be very curious to maybe see if he goes to somewhere that's not as big market and maybe see it can maybe change him a bit. Because right now it's just not cutting it. You're the number 2 overall pick. You got benched a couple weeks ago. You got to be able. You were able to kind of take a look at Mike White and a couple other guys, playing, and even they were talking about how he was, working on his footwork and stuff like that here and there. But you saw, of course, last week the first couple drives, like, okay, maybe he's kind of back, maybe he's kind of showing you a couple big plays here and there, but it's just never consistent. It's never feels like to me with Zach Wilson that his confidence is there on a full-time high, and that's what you need from your quarterback out there. I don't think that there's a lot of players too buying in as well. Of course, me myself being at the Jets at Pats game, one of the lowest games I would say of the season, Zach Wilson was completely. It might have been one of the worst opposing quarterback performances I've seen against my New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. It was completely just, and I thought to myself too, if the New York Jets had decent, confident quarterback play with the way that their defense has been, they might be at 10 to 11 wins this year. I think they've lost maybe 4 or 5 games just because of how incompetent their quarterback play has been. And Zach Wilson has to take a lot of blame. I mean, today he was talking about after the game about how the boos were, he deserves the boos and stuff like that. Go out there and play the way that you're supposed to be playing as number 1 took, man. I don't care about the excuses. I don't care about, everything like that. Go out and show it. And Robert Saleh, I think, is giving you so many chances to show it right now. And I think that for me, I agree. I mean, I think Mike White should be their starter moving forward. I think Mike White has at least shown to me that he goes out there, he plays a lot of high confidence. He kind of reminds me right now, and I don't know how you're going to feel about with me saying this. He kind of reminds me now of the Brock Purdy of the New York Jets. He comes in with a lot of swag. He takes the hits. I mean, heck, he didn't want to get out of that Buffalo game. He didn't want to get it at all. It doesn't matter in terms of where you might be on the quarterback depth chart, as long as you play with a lot of confidence, as long as you make the nice reads and stuff like that. You deserve to play. So the Jets, I think, have to look in the mirror, kind of see where they go from here, because right now, as a number 2 overall pick, Zach Wilson is not only getting worse, he is getting to a point where I don't think even coaches trust him, and I don't even know when there could be a potential chance after Mike White comes back if we ever see the field again, until next season. Because, yes, Robert Saleh is saying, that this might not be the end of him, but I think he's trying to be, nice in the best way possible. I think Zach Wilson should be done for the rest of the season, but I don't see it happening.
Anyways, here I'm back. Sorry again, guys, for the technical difficulties here. Husma, I mean, did you give your thoughts on this Thursday night game between the Jaguars and the Jets?
I didn't really see the Jaguars-Jets game.
Oh, okay. I thought you did, but anyways, here now.
I really like the Jaguars team. They play really good.
I know they do. I mean, Isaiah could have a point to that. But anyways, I'm going to go back to Isaiah on this. So, I mean, if Doug Peterson leads the Jags to an improbable AFC South title, should he win Coach of the Year over Nick Sirianni? And then another question I got for you is, Jags or Titans, who do you have more confidence in taking home the AFC South crown?
Oh, this is going to be fun.
If you had asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said Nick Sirianni deserves it because we all thought the Eagles were going to be good, but we didn't think they were going to be that good. But now, after 3 weeks later, I was thinking about this. I'm watching, I forgot what show it was, and it was one of the topics, and I was thinking about this. I think that you got to give Doug Peterson the Coach of the Year over Nick Sirianni because when you look at what Doug Peterson has done compared to what Nick Sirianni has done, both guys have done exceptional jobs coaching their respective teams. The Eagles are now, I believe, 13-1 under Nick Sirianni. But here's the thing. We thought the Eagles were going to be good. They added A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith. They added a whole bunch of other players on defense. We knew they were going to be good. We knew they were going to be a playoff team at least. The 13-1, that is a big surprise because we thought they were going to be good, but we didn't think they were going to be that good.
Yeah.
But when you look at the job that Doug Peterson has done, the Jaguars literally went from a number 1 pick team. They had the worst record in football last season. They've been the laughing stock of football for the past 3-4 seasons. They had back-to-back number 1 picks, and they had that absolutely crap show with Urban Meyer last year. And Doug Peterson has taken that same squad that, yeah, they made some moves, but he's taking that same squad, and now they are not only the Jacksonville Jaguars are 7-8. They have gone from a team that I believe only won 2 games last year, or 3 games last year, and they've won now 7. They've doubled their win total, and they are on the cusp of winning the AFC South. I mean, you got to give it to Doug Peterson. I love the job what Nick Sirianni has done, but like I said earlier, the Eagles were supposed to be good. The Jags were not supposed to be good whatsoever. I think that a lot of the people that had projected what the Jags were going to do this season had them winning like 4 or 5 games, and that's it. And if the Jaguars win the AFC South, if they win the AFC South, if they make the playoffs, you got to give it to Doug Peterson because I love what Nick Sirianni has done, but what Doug Peterson has done would be even more impressive than what Nick Sirianni has done for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think you got to give it to him if they either make the playoffs or they win the AFC South, because that would be such a great, great accomplishment and an incredible accomplishment for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And as far as your second question is concerned, Loro, about Jags or Titans, who I have more faith in, I got to go with the Jags because the Jags are playing outstanding football right now. The Titans are floundering, especially after the news that they abruptly fired their GM, John Robinson, a couple of weeks ago. I think that was a firing that took everybody by surprise. And that firing, I think, really caused conflict among the Tennessee Titans because a lot of the players, they don't know why John Robinson got fired. They don't know what happened between him and Mike Vrabel? Was it between him and John Robinson and the owner? I feel like that situation really caused a fracture among the Tennessee Titans players, and you've seen it on the football field. I mean, the Tennessee Titans have lost 3 straight games. They got smoked by Philadelphia. They got smoked by the Jacksonville Jaguars at home, and they got punked by the Chargers on a last-second game-winning field goal. They've lost 3 in a row after the firing. They are a team that's in shambles right now. Their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, there's some reports out there that are saying that he's likely to miss the remainder of the season after the ankle injury he suffered on last Sunday. And, he's already out for this week's game against the Houston Texans. They're playing Malik Willis. And we all saw Malik Willis play against the Kansas City Chiefs. It was awful. I think it might have been one of the worst performances we've seen from a rookie making his debut in a very, very long time, not named Nathan Peterman. I mean, that was how awful his debut was. And what Kansas City did was they stacked the box, making Malik Willis have to beat him with his arm. And I think that, Ben, Loro, Hamza, you guys all probably could agree with me. When you watch that Kansas City, Tennessee game when he was starting, I don't think anybody ever had any faith whatsoever that Malik Willis was going to lead the Titans to the win. I mean, that game was close, but I don't think anybody expected whatsoever that the Titans were going to win.
Even in overtime.
Yeah. And now, especially in overtime. And now he's playing against the Texans. They might lose that game because the Texans always play the Titans tough, plus the backup starting. And then next week, they play Dallas. I know it's at home, but still, you're playing Dallas. Dallas is a really, really good team. And then for the division, if you get that far, you play the Jacksonville Jaguars, not in Tennessee, but in Jacksonville. And if the division is on the line in that game, that crowd Oh my gosh, it's going to be the loudest we've ever heard Everbank Field in Jacksonville. It's going to be absolutely insane. And with the way the Jags are playing, the easy schedule, they beat the Jets tonight. They got the Texans next week. If they take care of business against the Texans and play at home against the Tennessee Titans for the division, I trust the home crowd. I trust the home cooking. I trust Trevor Lawrence to be able to deliver. And I trust the Jags more over the Tennessee Titans.
Anyways, here, Husma, we'll go to you here. Question for you is that if Doug Peterson leads the Jags to an improbable AFC South title, should he win Coach of the Year over Nick Sirianni? And who do you like in the AFC South? Who do you have more confident in between Jacksonville or Tennessee?
I have more confidence in Jacksonville because they look like a really strong team. They have lots of confidence on the field. They have some key players in the league, which plays a really big role when it comes to football playoff contention.
And then you talk about if Doug Peterson leads the Jags to an improbable AFC South title, do you think he should win Coach of the Year over Nick Sirianni?
I don't really think he should.
Oh, was that?
I don't really think he should.
That might be a Cinderella thing here, but anyways, here now. Now we will talk about guys, we talk about which Week 16 game we are looking forward to the most. Although I'm looking forward to seeing my Pats play, I'm getting hesitant about their game against the Cincinnati Bengals. I know Ben and I will have to talk about that. The Bengals have not won a game in Foxborough in a long time. The Patriots still have their number against the Bengals in Foxborough. But anyways, here, for me, I'm looking forward to more excited about this Raiders and Steelers game, which is going to be played the day after the 50th anniversary or the 70th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. And we have to talk about the death of Franco Harris, who I think he died way too soon. He was gone way too soon. And, condolences go out to his family and friends during this sorry time. And Franco Harris is a legend of Pittsburgh Steelers football. Isaiah, I'm going to go to you here. Which Week 16 game are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking at the schedule for Week 16. If Jalen Hurts was playing, you obviously got to say Eagles-Cowboys because that would have been massive. Cowboys still have a shot at winning the NFC East, although it's a very, very slim shot at winning the NFC East. But I think with Jalen Hurts out and Gardner Minshew in, that changes the dynamic of that game because now we wouldn't see a fun, epic matchup because I don't trust Gardner Minshew going up against the Cowboys defense. I know Gardner hasn't started a game in a while, so he's going to be very rusty. And against that Cowboys defense, man, they're going to feast on his weaknesses. That's why that game kind of got less interesting after Hurts' injury. But in terms of the other games, I gotta start first with the Packers and the Dolphins. Both teams are vying for a playoff spot right now. Miami has a really good offense. Green Bay has Aaron Rodgers. You can never, ever, ever count him out. These two teams, their defenses aren't really that great. So I think it's going to be a shootout in South Beach. I think that you're going to see Tua have a big day. I think you're going to see Raheem Mostert have a big day. I think Tyreek Hill's going to have a big day because the Packers' secondary is extremely weak. If they can't get any pressure on Tua to Tyreek Hill is going to be going bombs away all day long on Saturday afternoon. I think that game is definitely very interesting. I think winner gets a big boost to the playoff chase. The loser, their season is basically over. So Packers at Dolphins is a game that I'm looking forward to. It's actually on Christmas Day. My apologies, not on Christmas Eve. The other game I'm looking forward to, like you said, Laurel, Raiders and Steelers. Mike Tomlin, if he loses this game, will clinch his first ever losing season as a head coach. If the Raiders win, they will get a big, big boost towards a playoff spot. So that's a game that really interests me. Plus, the Raiders and the Steelers always plays amazing, masterful games against each other. The other games that I'm looking forward to, Bengals and Patriots. I think that the Patriots can actually keep this game close because it's in Foxborough, cold weather, so you won't be able to throw the football a lot if you're the Bengals. And if the Pats shut down the running game, that might be a problem for Joe Burrow and Cincinnati. And then the Commanders of the Niners, because I want to see how Brock Purdy does, against a fierce defensive line in Washington with Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, even Chase Young is coming back, which we'll talk about later in the show. But this is probably going to be the stiffest defensive line that Brock Purdy has faced as a starter. And if he can beat this defensive line, if he can beat this defense, that will give me a lot of confidence going into the playoffs because, a lot of these teams in the playoff mix, they have really, really good defensive lines. And, Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, two great defensive minds, are going to have exotic coverages that Brock Purdy is not familiar with. So I'll be interested to see if he can solve that. So those are the games that I'm looking forward to here on this Christmas weekend.
What about you, Ben? Which games are you looking forward to the most in this Christmas weekend?
I mean, there's a lot of games to look forward to. It kind of stinks, to be honest, that I have to go back and forth with NBA Christmas Day where I have my Celtics and Bucks literally smack in the middle of the 4 o'clock game. Which, to be fair, though, it's the Broncos and Rams, which, of course, I don't think is one of the most appetizing games. So, if anything, I might want to miss that game. But I'm going to go Giants-Vikings. I think that this is a game between two teams where I think the Vikings, of course, are coming off that massive comeback victory against the Indianapolis Colts. And the New York Giants are coming off a massive victory against the Commanders. And they kind of remind me of different teams, but the same teams. The Giants, this season have came with a little bit of luck in terms of some of their wins coming from behind, and of course Isaiah. In terms of the Vikings, their luck. Steven, if you're hearing it, I'm sorry. To be fair, you guys have had a little bit of your luck. So which luck comes running out on against two of these teams, and it's in Minnesota. I feel like every single time I'm seeing Minnesota on the schedule as of late, they're at home. I don't know why. But, they're playing the Vikings. It should be a really good game. Kevin O'Connell against Brian Daboll, two really good coaches this season. And, the Vikings obviously are the number 2 seed. The Giants are the 6th seed. So there's a lot of implications there. I agree with Isaiah in terms of the Eagles-Cowboys that Jalen Hurts played. I thought that game could have been something in terms of the implications. But I really like Sirianni's decision to sit Jalen Hurts because you want to have him fully healthy for the playoffs. Of course, the Bengals, Pats, should be fun. Hopefully, we don't get absolutely smacked. Chiefs and Seahawks should be good too. Seattle, of course, is outside looking in. They're in the bubble. They're 7-7. I think that the Chiefs are going to win because it's at their place, but that could be a very enticing game. Obviously, Commanders, Niners, like you guys mentioned. And I'd probably go with the Packers and Dolphins. There's a ton of games this weekend that will definitely determine things, as this is probably one of my favorite time of year where you can kind of start to see this is really the time of now or never for a lot of teams. So, there's quite a bit of good games out there this weekend, and obviously there's going to be some bone-chilling temperatures. So a lot of really good games that have implications will also be impacted by the bone-chilling cold weather.
Anyways, Hasma, I'll go to you. Which Week 16 game are you looking forward to the most here?
I'm looking forward to Commanders and 49ers.
That is like you're on Isaiah's spot right there. So anyways, here we got to talk about the reaction to Franco Harris's death. I mean, this was shocking but sudden. I mean, the Steelers are going to be playing with a heavy heart on Saturday when the Steelers take on the Raiders on Christmas Eve night. Isaiah, I'm going to go to you on this. What was your reaction when you first heard the news about Steelers legendary running back Franco Harris passing away suddenly? But you also know that he was a integral part of the Immaculate Reception.
I was very sad. It just seems like the end of 2022 has, meant the end of a lot of, legendary people that you just did not expect to pass away so soon. I mean, you have Franco Harris, Mike Leach from last week. There's just a lot of people that you just don't expect to pass away so soon, just to be gone. But I mean, he lived an outstanding life. He, as you mentioned, Loro, he was a part of the Immaculate Reception, which will live forever in Pittsburgh. He had an amazing career. He played for 13 seasons, 9-time Pro Bowl selection, won 4 Super Bowls with the Steelers, including winning the MVP or in the Super Bowl over the Vikings. He left a great, great legacy, and he's a guy that will definitely be missed. You just can't recreate the legacy that he left. And what's also really shocking was that he actually gave an interview in the hours before his death, and there was no sign of trouble. It's kind of the same thing with Mike Leach. I mean, Mike Leach, the day before he died, there was really no sign of any issues or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, the next day, heart attack, and then he's on to the hospital, and then he's gone. So it's just really sad, and it sucks. And prayers go up to his family, the Steelers organization, and it just tells you to cherish every moment of your life.
What about you, Ben? What was your thoughts on Franco Harris' sudden death?
Yeah, just absolutely tragic. Like Isaiah was saying, it feels like this year, a lot of the good ones have, are now unfortunately not with us anymore. And Franco Harris was a guy that is definitely really well known around not only in football but just in sports worldwide. And just sending my condolences to basically the NFL world out there, fans, Steeler fans specifically. They're going to be playing with a heavy heart. That's why, firstly, I think that the Steelers, I don't really like their team or really like them, but what I do respect is they've had a great tradition with in terms of their overall franchise with a lot of greats over the course of time. And this is a guy that really is one of the greats out there that a lot of people looked up to and obviously remembered. So yeah, this is going to be a really tough one to swallow and really tough to hear about. And really sending my condolences out there for to hearing this legendary player that the Steelers had. And I hope that they do something commemorative wise, before the game on Saturday against the Raiders, where I know a lot of the fans take a moment to obviously just remember and sit back and obviously remember the good memories that this guy brought to their franchise. And obviously, the NFL world is going to be coming down with a heavy heart come this weekend for Franco Harris.
And Chardol says that he was sad that he heard about Franco Harris's death here, but Husma, I don't know if you know anything about Franco Harris and the Steelers here. What was your thoughts when you heard the news of the sudden death of Franco Harris?
It's really sad. He's gone too soon.
You talk about an NFL legend here, Husma, that he was part of this iconic play, which was called the Immaculate Reception, and that was against the Raiders.
Yeah, he had some pretty great plays. I don't really know much about him myself, but he seems like he's one of the top players of his time.
And he sure was. But anyways, here now, moving on to an important subject. This is going to be all for Isaiah. I mean, we're going to put him on the spot right now. Do you think the 49ers have found their franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy? For me, it's too early for me to judge that because I'm still on the Trey area right there, Isaiah. I still have a lot of confidence in Trey Lance. Trey Lance, even though he's off of the season, I do think the Niners still have a long-term vision for Trey Lance.
Mm.
2 words, fellas. 2 words to answer this question. Hell yes. The 49ers have found their franchise quarterback in Brock Purdy. And, Ben, Loro, and Hamza, I might be eating these words come next season, like I did with Zach Wilson a couple minutes ago. But you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to go out there and, stomp for this take. Because when I look at Brock Purdy, he is more advanced than any other rookies that I've seen in a long time in the NFL. And also, he just wows you, man. And he is the perfect fit for what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. We have been searching for this type of quarterback for the last 5 seasons. Niner fans always just want a quarterback that can, get the ball out quick, that can move in and out of the pocket, that has some type of mobility. Doesn't have to be a lot of mobility like Lamar Jackson or prime Cam Newton or even Colin Kaepernick. They just need a little bit of mobility, and also a guy that can make plays, that can, that has the smarts. And when you look at Brock Purdy, the stuff that he's put on in the 3 starts that he started has been just damn near impressive, man. I mean, this guy is definitely more advanced than his age would seem. What really wowed me was the fact that this guy just gets the ball out quick. He doesn't make mistakes. Doesn't matter what kind of exotic coverages you throw at him or whatever blitzes you throw at him. He doesn't get phased. He's so confident. He is so poised, especially in the pocket. I mean, there was a throw to Kittle that against the Miami Dolphins where I was just like, oh, crap. Brock is going to get sacked. He's going to get pummeled. And somehow, some way, when the Dolphins defensive lineman is coming right towards him, he just big over the middle, first down, George Kittle. I mean, it was an impressive throw right there. But I think what really solidified it and really made this firm for me was the fact that against Seattle, and I think Ben, Loro, you guys know where I'm going to go with this, is against Seattle, 3 plays. Number 1, Kyle Shanahan had the guts to have this guy throw not once, but twice when he was at the 1-yard line. He had the guts to do it. When he never had the guts to do that with Jimmy. It would always be handoff up the middle, try to get away from the end zone. But he had Brock Purdy throw it not once, but twice. And Brock put a nice pass over the middle to Jawan Jennings in double coverage, and he just slipped it right in there where only Jennings could get it, and it was a first down. And then the other play that really stood out to me was the fact that the time was running. Seattle only had like 1 timeout left, and Purdy, there was nobody open on 3rd down and 3. So you know what he does? He runs across the right side, scrambles across the right side, picks up the first down. And what was really impressive about this play was the fact that this kid slid in bounds to keep the clock running. I mean, no rookie would think of that. I guarantee you right now. Zach Wilson, others, young quarterbacks, they would not do that. They would just go out of bounds. They would slide out of bounds, and you would stop the clock, and then everybody would be like, why did you not slide in bounds? But this guy's mentality, his IQ is just farther than his years, man. It's very impressive. I've been very blown away with the stuff that I've seen from Brock Purdy in the 3 games that he's played for the San Francisco 49ers. And not to mention, this dude's got swagger, man. He's got swagger, and he's got the confidence which you need in the NFL to survive. And, I mean, I don't know where this will go. I'm confident that, the Niners can win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy because, we got a great defense. We have a tremendous play caller and offensive game planner in Kyle Shanahan. We have great weapons. So it wouldn't be like Brock Purdy putting the Niners on his back to win a Super Bowl. But, yeah, you could definitely win a Super Bowl. And I think that if Brock Purdy takes you to the NFC Championship game, I think that the 49ers are going to have a quarterback competition. It's going to be a thing that never, ever did any of us thought we would see before the season, a Brock Purdy, Trey Lance competition. But Brock Purdy, with his play right now, if he keeps it going, he cemented it that there will be at least a quarterback competition going forward. And to be honest, he looks like a young Tom Brady. He really does. He looks like a young Tom Brady. He acts like a young Tom Brady with all the confidence and swagger oozing out of him. I've been very, very impressed. And I think that, with Trey Lance, unfortunately, he's a project, and he can't really throw the football right now that accurately, and he doesn't really get the ball out really quick. That's why he's always taking a lot of hits, is because he's like double pumping. He is taking time to get the ball out quick. You can't get the ball out really slow in the NFL, or else, you would be clobbered. You got to get that ball out quick, and that's what Brock Purdy's been doing. And, I've been very impressed, and I really believe that the Niners have found their franchise quarterback in Mr. Irrelevant.
What about you, Ben? Do you have any thoughts on Brock Purdy being the 49ers franchise quarterback despite the good play that he has been dealing with?
Well, first of all, if I had to have the Mr. Brock Purdy fan club, I think Isaiah would be the first one to be nominated. Because, man, oh, man, I mean, yeah, the guy absolutely, he raves about it. And, I mean, to be fair, how can you not? I mean, the guy is really, like Isaiah was mentioning, he feels like he's playing at an all-time level, coming in from a third-string level, and he's doing exactly what a quarterback should be doing out there in terms of great instincts, finding the decent reads, and like Isaiah was saying, play with a lot of fun and swag. A lot of guys when they're young and stuff like that, they try to seem to do too much. I mean, that's something with Zach Wilson I can at least see right now is he's trying to overthink things, and he's getting frustrated by doing that. I think with Brock Purdy, you got to just keep on playing loose and trying to just let the guys, go out and he's been a distributor. It's like basketball. If you have a really decent point guard, you go out and you just give it out to your other playmakers that have been really good and let them do the work. And that's what the Niners have. They have a quarterback that knows how to distribute the ball. They have guys like George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel, all these guys that can play really well in yards after the catch are special seats for all those guys. And that's one thing about the Niners that have done great, and that's Brock Purdy doing a really good job for that. I think it's going to be more as of right now. If you ask me about the future, I'm going to say more quarterback controversy than having Brock Purdy as your number one guy, because I want to see it come playoff time. I want to come see it where the stakes are higher, and I get, Isaiah has been really high on him as of right now, which he should be as of right now. But the time is when you come playoff time, when you face a lot of the really good coaches, a lot of good teams, that's when you'll kind of start to see, okay, does the guy really get it? Because obviously you could see a lot in people's careers, really good regular season quarterbacks, but can they do it in the playoffs? And I think that's something with Brock Purdy, where if he could do it come playoff time consistently after consistently, then he could be the guy. But as of right now, if you ask me right now, I think that he has potential to be the guy, but I have to see it, in the big stages come the playoffs. I think that's the biggest thing, at least for me, that I can start to take a look at it. And I think that, that's how I'll start to view it. So Isaiah, if he gets the NFC title game and, he goes out and plays really, really, really well, against a team like Philadelphia, I'll give you all the praise in the world. And, I'll tell you that I was wrong about him, because as of right now, I've already started to eat my words alive, but come playoff time, that's when I'll kind of see if he'll start to be really coming the big deal or not.
What about you, Husma? Do you have any do you think Brock Purdy is the 49ers franchise quarterback here?
Yes, I absolutely think that he's the greatest quarterback 49ers can have. He has outplayed Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and Kaepernick.
Well, Kaepernick's not even on the roster there, but anyways, here, Chase Young is making his season debut against the San Francisco 49ers. So, Isaiah, do you have any thoughts on how you think he's going to approach this? And do you think he's going to be on a snap count limit?
Well, my reaction when I first saw the news this morning was like, damn it, Ron Rivera. Damn you, Jack Del Rio. Why does it have to be this week against the 49ers and against Brock Purdy? Why do you got to torment a young kid this week? Why couldn't you save him for next week in your final two games? Why did it have to be this week? But after getting away from the emotions of this news that broke, I think he's going to be on a snap count. I'm excited to see what he could do. He hasn't played football in about 12 months after a torn ACL. Normally, pass rushers after a severe ACL injury, it takes a lot of time for them to get back to what they once were. So I'd be interested to see what happens. I know he's going to be on a snap count. I'm excited to see how athletic he is with that knee, the reconstructed knee. I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting for sure, and it's going to be another headache that the Niners have to worry about because when Chase Young is on the football field, no matter how good he is, if he's 100%, if he's not, or whatever, you always got to double him. So it's just another headache for the San Francisco 49ers to worry about.
What about you, Husma? Do you have any thoughts on Chase Young being back for the Commanders here?
Well, I don't really know about Chase Young.
All right. Anyways, here we're going to take a little break here, and then when we come back, we will have our Christmas Day NBA Pick'em along with MLB talk, and also Christmas fun is coming up here. Step aside. We'll be back for more of the Christmas special on the IM6 and MI6 network right after this brief break. And we are going to bring Husma back on for the trivia fun here. He'll be joining us back for that in a little bit. Now we are back here for some NBA talk here. I mean, Isaiah, no, we have some great Christmas Day games coming for you. Husma will be back for the fun and trivia segment here. So anyways, first off, we'll talk about the Lakers here. I mean, the Lakers have a game tomorrow against the Charlotte Hornets. And I'll tell you, the Lakers... The game against the Kings, I was like, oh my gosh, like there was no effort whatsoever. I was like, why weren't you playing with energy, with power, and with defense? The Lakers looked gassed, lost, couldn't defend De'Aaron Fox or Sabonis. The Kings looked like they were a world beater to the Lakers right here, Isaiah.
They did. It was an embarrassment. The Los Angeles Lakers are in the midst of an easy stretch right now, playing against teams like the Hornets, the Magic, the Kings, the Wizards. And it's, dude, you got to win these games. Like, I know Anthony Davis is hurt, but you got to beat these terrible teams. You got to beat these laughing stocks if you want to get your record back to 500 and actually contend for a play-in spot in the Western Conference. You can't be losing to the Kings. You can't be losing to other teams that you've lost to. The Los Angeles Lakers, it was an absolute embarrassment. I know AD didn't play. LeBron was gassed, especially late, because he had to carry the load. But, Lonnie Walker was great. Thomas Bryant was outstanding. Dennis Schroeder was outstanding. Pat Bev actually showed up. But you know what? What about Kendrick Nunn? 0 points, 0 assists, 0 rebounds, and 11 minutes of play. How about Troy Brown Jr.? 7 points, 5 rebounds, that's it. Damian Jones, you were signed to a one-year contract. You were supposed to be a guy that was supposed to be put in here to to be the Lakers starting center. Now you're relegated to backup role, and you only had 2 points in 6 minutes of play and 3 rebounds, man. Like, it's absolutely pathetic, man. The Lakers players, the role players that they signed that were supposed to contribute heavily. They aren't stepping up. I know Reeves wasn't playing. I think Reeves would have helped. I know Davis wasn't playing. I know Westbrook wasn't playing. They were very short-handed. But you got to win these games against these teams that I'm telling you guys, nobody expect to do anything. And it's just so disappointing to see the Lakers just continue to lose these games after games after games after games when they shouldn't be losing to these teams. And you're not going to make the playoffs if you continue to lose to these teams that, they just suck. So the Lakers got to get their act together. I know they played Dallas Knicks. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But, I mean, my gosh, man, the Lakers got to step it up. And I hope Reeves and Westbrook and all those guys play on Christmas Day against the Mavs because, I mean, they need to. And against the Hornets, too, because they need them. They need Reeves' shooting. They need Westbrook's aggressiveness. They need his powerful move to the baskets. I mean, good Lord. Like, the Lakers need the help. And shame on Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss for not doing anything right now. Like, they're the fact that they're sitting on their hands doing nothing, it's a joke, man. It's an absolute joke. And, they should be stripped. Jeannie Buss should be stripped as an owner of her ownership privileges. And also, Rob Pelinka, he should be stripped of his GM duties and fired, man. I mean, the guy, like, dude, this team did not have shooting to begin with. You knew this team did not have playmaking and defense to begin with. And this roster we all knew was incomplete, yet you do nothing to solve the problems. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I respectfully disagree with you about Jeannie Buss giving up her ownership control. I mean, I really think she's done a great job, but Rob Pelinka, I mean, I have questioned his moves and all that, but I'm starting to not be a believer in Rob Pelinka like you are, Isaiah.
Lauro, what I just don't get is why are the Lakers not making a move? I mean, AD is going to be out, so what are you going to do? Give up now? Are you waving the white towel?
You shouldn't be waving the white flag on the Lakers season right now. Like, I know Juan Toscano-Anderson can step up. He's a great defender and all that, but it's not really enough. Like, look at the Lakers roster right now. I mean, Gabriel is decent, but he's okay.
He's inconsistent.
But look at the entire roster as a whole. The Los Angeles Lakers are just lost. I mean, they're playing the Hornets. And if you look at the Hornets record, LaMelo Ball is back. And LaMelo Ball is nothing but spectacular since coming back. The Hornets are 8-24 heading into tomorrow's game for the Lakers. If the Lakers lose to an 8-24 Hornets team, even though I think Charlotte can come right back and try to get hot at the right time, if they lose to the Charlotte Hornets, I don't know what to say.
That's my reaction. I'll be very speechless. I would have nothing to say as well because you got to take care of business against the teams that don't belong on the level with you. Like I love the Hornets. I love LaMelo Ball. I picked him to be the face of basketball in 2026. But you can't lose to this team. You cannot lose to these teams that you shouldn't lose to. And the Lakers, they need to make a move. And it's about time they stop just sitting around and doing nothing and actually do something because we all know this roster is not complete. And if you don't stay afloat with AD out, when he comes back, it's going to be too late because you dug yourself too far of a hole. So they need to make a move now. And I don't care what happens in 2027. I don't care what happens in 2029. Trade the picks. Because if you trade the picks, we want to win a championship now. I'd rather have a championship now than wait for a number 10 pick to develop in 2027, 2029. I don't care about what happens in the future, man. I want to win a championship now. I want the chip now. I want the Lakers to make a move now. Do something, please, Lakers.
Absolutely, Isaiah. I could not agree more with you on that. I want a Larry O'Brien trophy here in LA, and I know I want to see that happen again, and I want to see it happen at Crypto.com Arena. But I urge Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss to make a move. Hey, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, if they're on the block, trade for them. But I think the Pacers are playing better than what people think.
They are. And here's the thing. I did hear that the Chicago Bulls are having a lot of issues right now. I know Zach LaVine, his teammates got into it with him, a heated discussion a couple of nights ago. There was reports that some executives are expecting LaVine to maybe want out. DeMar DeRozan could maybe want out as well. I mean, the Bulls could end up blowing it up because they're just having so much friction and so much turmoil right now. Poor Billy Donovan. I love that guy. He's a great coach. But I don't know, Laurel. I think the Lakers just got to just make a move. Like, get some shooting. That's what we need.
Yeah, shooting is what the Lakers need.
Yeah,
like,
you don't need anything
who's
special.
available in the Orlando Magic that who the Lakers could get? Terrence Ross or something like that. I don't think the Magic would want to give up some of their
I would
pieces.
not trade a first-round pick, though, for Terrence Ross. There's no way I would trade a first-round pick for Terrence Ross.
What about Bradley Beal?
I would trade 2 first-round picks for Bradley Beal. I would give up everything I got for Bradley Beal. I would do that.
Yeah, the Lakers need to get him because you could throw in Patrick Beverly to Washington, and then you give the Wizards the 2027 and 2029 first-round picks to Washington.
Yes, you could do that.
And the Wizards are kind of in a rebuild type of team, you know? And then Trae Young might get moved. The Hawks are 16-16. The Hawks are supposed to be a title contender by now, but they have fallen off a cliff.
Yeah, there's issues in the ATL right now. The Hawks are having their issues of their own. I mean, if Trae Young is available, dude, Rob Pelinka, stop whatever you're doing. Get that phone call out to Atlanta and trade.
Call Landry Fields and see if you can include Russell Westbrook in the trade to Atlanta, and then you get Trae Young and DeJounte Murray to LA.
Not DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray will be too much. If Trae Young's available, man, do whatever you take to get him. I trade my picks for the next 50 years. I don't care. I would get Trae Young.
Who else would you include in the Trae Young deal if he goes to the Lakers? Would you include Clint Capella?
It probably would be like Westbrook and then as many picks. I don't know how many picks the Lakers have they can trade, but I would trade them all. I don't care. I would trade them all to get Trae Young.
Yeah, Trae Young. Let's see how the Hawks season goes. I'm still optimistic that the Hawks can turn around and get back to being an over 500 team. But the Lakers, could they reunite with Kyle Kuzma? I wouldn't mind it at all. What about you, Isaiah?
I wouldn't mind it, but I don't want us to trade a first-round pick for him because it makes no sense. You traded.
He's not worth the first-round pick. He's worth a second-round pick.
Give up like a second-round pick. Give a couple seconds. Yeah, you can go get him because he's a free agent after the season anyways, and the Wizards want to get him because he said he's looking forward to exploring free agency. So he's probably not going to be back in Washington. Washington wants something. Just give up a second rounder for Kuzma. I wouldn't mind him because he at least could shoot.
He can, but the Lakers, they should have developed him more.
Yeah, they definitely.
Anyways, now we got to debate this before we make our NBA Christmas Day pick'em here. Talk about who has been for the first month and a half of this NBA season, who has been the team that has been the most surprising. For me, the team that I think has been the most surprising, Isaiah, is the Brooklyn Nets. After turmoil in the early part of the season, they have surprised everybody and proven everybody wrong in the next month and a half. But that tells me something, that their expectation is still championship or bust.
Are we talking about good surprises or bad surprises?
We're talking about good surprises that have happened in the first month and a half in this NBA season. And I have to say, the Brooklyn Nets have been a good surprise.
I like your pick. I think that it's a very, very good and reasonable pick. But for me, I'm actually gonna go with the Utah Jazz. Nobody expected the Jazz to even have a winning record after 2 months of the NBA, or after a month a month and close to 2 months of the NBA season. Everybody expected after, close to 2 months of the NBA season that the Utah Jazz would be sitting at the bottom of the Western Conference with the San Antonio Spurs as the worst team in the NBA, and Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, and other players that they have would be traded. But the Jazz have surprised everybody. They're definitely not going to get the number 1 pick and get Victor Wembanyama anymore. They, could in fact get a playoff spot. Definitely most
or a
likely
play-in spot. I mean, the Jazz were on a rough stretch. I mean, they after a hot start, then they kind of cooled off a little bit. But Utah somehow is picking it up again.
They are. And, I mean, Colin Sexton looks like a building block for their future. Will Hardy's done an unbelievable job coaching that Jazz team. The guy that I'm really surprised by is Lauri Markkanen, because that guy was kind of a disappointment. He was a middle-tier player. He goes to Utah, and all of a sudden he looks like a superstar. I mean, this guy's playing at an all-star level right now. He had 21 points in 29 minutes the other night. He had 38 against Detroit, 24 against the Cavaliers. He's playing really good basketball, and he is looking like that top pick that he was back when the guy got drafted back in 2017. So I've been very, very impressed by the Jazz. I think right now they are my biggest surprises of this NBA season. And you definitely got to throw in the New York Knicks. The Knicks are 18-14. Tom Thibodeau looks like he's gotten himself off the hot seat. I thought that Thibodeau would be one of the coaches fired after this season because I thought the Knicks were going to tank again. But the Knicks have really surprised a lot of people. Jalen Brunson's playing well. They have had great play from Julius Randle as well. I mean, the Knicks have been one of the big surprises. So I got to say the Knicks in the East and the Jazz in the West.
Yeah, for me, my biggest disappointment this season has to go to the Chicago Bulls. What in the world are they doing? I mean, this team a year ago was really good, and I think that this team had such a bright future, but now the Chicago Bulls are stuck in the bottom.
My biggest disappointment, wow, there's a lot of teams that I could definitely pick.
Like the Warriors, I'm not worried about the Warriors. I know I'm not worried about them as more as you are, because I still think the Warriors can get their act together. I know they're load managing Klay Thompson early in this season. I get it. But I do think that Klay Thompson's going to play more down the stretch.
I'm worried about the Warriors, but I wouldn't say that I'm disappointed in them more than this team. I think, and the team that I'm referring to is the Toronto Raptors. This team made the playoffs last year. Scotty Barnes looked like a future superstar, and now they're 14-18. They're 10-6 at home. They're 4-12 on the road. They suck on the road. Scotty Barnes looks like an average player in the NBA. The Raptors are having internal turmoil left and right. Nick Nurse doesn't look like he can motivate players. The Raptors, they don't have shooting. Pascal, when he's not getting going, they can't score. They can't do anything. The Raptors, I think the Raptors lost 7 in a row prior to beating the New York Knicks yesterday. They lost like a lot of games in a row. They've struggled big time. They play the Cavaliers tomorrow night. It's going to be fascinating to see what Toronto does, because I thought Toronto really overachieved last year, and now they've come back down to earth, and it doesn't look pretty for Toronto. So I'll say Toronto's definitely one of my biggest disappointments.
But they're still 10th. They could still, if the playoffs were today, I think they would be playing in the play-in tournament against Atlanta, but it remains to be seen how their season goes. I could see them making a Cinderella run in the second half of the season.
They could, but that's why they got to get their act together. I mean, right now there's a lot of fighting, which you never want to see. There's a lot of a lot of players that you should be better than how they're playing right now. They're just not playing the way they are. So that's why I got to say right now they're definitely for me the biggest disappointment, because I expected more from them. I expected not play-in tournament. I expected playoffs for them. They made the playoffs last year. They nearly got to the Raptors, nearly advanced. So I gotta say the Raptors definitely are the team that really is making me go like, what's going on in Toronto?
Yeah, and then you also forgot to mention this team, who I think has been your surprise and your wish is coming true with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
How about them Cavs, baby? I am in a jolly mood right now. The Cavs are playing outstanding basketball, third in the Eastern Conference. I told y'all before the season, we did our NBA predictions that the Cleveland Cavaliers would get a top 3 seed in the NBA, and it's coming true right now. Donovan Mitchell's looking like a superstar next to Darius Garland, who's playing like an all-star. Evan Mobley looks great. Jared Allen looks great. They're playing really, really good basketball right now. And, JB Bickerstaff has got this team rolling. He's done an outstanding job coaching this team. The other guys that, Karis LeVert, Cedi Osman, they've shown that they've got, and Kevin Love as well, who's who's resuscitated his career off the bench. They have a lot of depth in addition to their great starting five, and I like what Cleveland's doing. I think that, I'm be very interested to see what happens in the playoffs, because we know that playoff time it's going to be more physical than the spread it around, splash game that the Cavs are playing right now. But what a job by JB Bickerstaff. It's going to be fun to see them in the playoffs. And that Mortgage Fieldhouse, that's
Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is going to be rocking again. And this Cavs team,
yes, sir.
If you talk about this new version of this Cavs team in the post-LeBron era, this is fun in Cleveland right now.
Yeah, it's fun basketball. Definitely.
It's good. And I think the Cavs have such a bright future. I mean, this is a great young team that's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the East and all that. I mean, JB Bickerstaff has done a remarkable job, and I think your wish of him being coach of the year could come true.
Yes.
Yeah, but next up, we are going to talk about our Christmas Day pick'em. I mean, we have some great Christmas Day games coming up. First up, we have James Harden and Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers taking on Jalen Brunson and the new and improved New York Knicks. For me, Isaiah, who I like in this game, give me the Philadelphia 76ers to win this game, because I think that if Harden is playing, you're going to see a lot of rain and threes from James Harden. And I like the Sixers when they're dynamic on offense. You talk about Tobias Harris being a vocal point on that offense. Joel Embiid is going to be raining down threes, playing good defense. And I also think that for the Sixers to beat the Knicks, you're going to have to make R.J. Barrett and Jalen Brunson uncomfortable from the perimeter. What about you, Isaiah?
This game is going to be the funnest game of Christmas Day. No, not the Philadelphia 76ers, but give me the New York Knicks to pull off the Christmas Day upset at home. I think this is going to be a great, great game. It's going to come down to the wire. We're going to see a show for James Harden and Joel Embiid, and also Jalen Brunson and R.J. Barrett on the other side with Julius Randle. They're all going to put on a show. It's going to come down to the wire. I think the Knicks win this game in a very, very close game. I think Jalen Brunson has an outstanding game running the offense for Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks. I think Randle he will be pretty quiet early, but I think that he'll get going late. But, man, it's going to be a fun game. I can't wait. This is going to be a fun, epic showdown this kickstart Christmas Day. Give me the New York Knicks in an upset.
I wouldn't be shocked at the Knicks one, but if you talk about the head coaching matchup, it is Doc Rivers versus Tom Thibodeau, both who've worked together in Boston. And it's always fun to see Doc Rivers and one of his former assistants go head-to-head. Tom Thibodeau and Doc Rivers are great head coaches in this league, and both are facing a lot of pressure for their teams, especially Doc Rivers. I mean, the Sixers, their expectation now is Eastern Conference Finals or bust.
Yeah, you're right. Both teams are definitely facing a lot of pressure. Both coaches are facing a lot of pressure. Doc needs to win in the postseason. Tom Thibodeau, he needs to get his team into the playoffs at least. So yeah, both coaches are definitely facing a lot of pressure, and it's going to be interesting to see who can live up to it in the second half.
Next up, we got the Los Angeles Lakers taking on the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, no AD and all that. LeBron has to carry this team against a Mavs team that's led by Luka Doncic. And you talk about the Mavs, this team is very solid on both ends of the floor. Luka Doncic carries the team and all that. But as much as I want the Lakers to win this game, I highly doubt it because the Mavs are going to put on a show against the Lakers. The Lakers defense is going to get exposed because Luka Doncic is going to drive to the hoop, make clutch threes, and Luka is going to play some great defense for you. And I think Luka is probably going to have a 40-point day.
I think it's going to be close in the beginning, and I think the Mavs run away with it. I don't trust the Lakers defensively, especially without AD. I think the Mavs will be able to get to the cup nice and easy in this basketball game and impose their will on the Lakers. And I just don't think that having LeBron by himself will save the day. Schroeder's got to step up. Hopefully Reeves plays. He's got to play great in this game for the Lakers to even have a chance. Thomas Bryant needs to dominate because the Mavs don't really have that force in the paint. I just don't see it for the Lakers. Give me Dallas.
Well, if you look at the Mavs, I think they are a star away from being a true contender in the West. They have Luka, but who else do they have? Like, they have McGee. Tim Hardaway is good. I mean, Dinwiddie is pretty good. Bertans is good. But I also think that the Mavs need another star to pair with Luka Doncic.
They do if they want to win a championship, but I don't know who's going to be out there for the Mavs to pair Luka with. That's the thing. I really don't know. They tried Porzingis, that didn't work out. They tried, you had Jalen Brunson last year, although he's not really a star, but he was very solid for them. But I don't know who's could be that third star or that second star next to Luka, since there's really not that many great options available.
Next up, we talk about Giannis and the Bucks going up against Tatum and the Celtics. Ben Kerr said on our comments section, he said, Celtics Bucks Christmas Day. Let's go. This should be an Eastern Conference Finals preview. Go ahead, Isaiah. We're having trouble hearing Isaiah, but I was saying that the Bucks and the Celtics, this is going to be a great basketball game on Christmas Day. It's kind of like when Isaiah said 76ers and Knicks is going to be the highlight of the Christmas Day special here. But as Isaiah leaves, I will tell you who I like in this game. I don't like Boston, to be honest with you. I like Tatum. I think the Celtics are going to put up a fight. Milwaukee is going to be putting up a fight. I think this is going to be a fantastic basketball game as well. Anyways, here I'm going to go with the Milwaukee Bucks to beat the Boston Celtics. You talk about number 1 versus number 2 in the East, and Boston and Milwaukee, I think, will still be number 1. Will hang on to that number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I really think that this is going to be a fantastic basketball game. It's going to be fun. It's going to come down to the wire, I think. But anyways, here, when we get Isaiah back on, we'll talk about this game in particular here. But anyways, here, we will take another commercial break. And then when we come back, we'll get Isaiah's thoughts on the Celtics Bucks, and then we'll talk about Grizzlies and Isaiah's coming on. Never mind then. Isaiah, I talked about the Bucks and Celtics, and Ben said that this is going to be an Eastern Conference Finals preview, which I think it is, between Tatum and Giannis. I mean, the super team era is over when it comes to getting elite free agents. Now we're seeing the homegrown talent era become super teams, and the Bucks and the Celtics have done so by developing homegrown talent. Who do you like in this Bucks and Celtics matchup?
I'm gonna go with. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be tricky. I kind of just want to go with a randomizer here, but I can't do that. This is this is like really tough because I know there's gonna be an excellent game. Give me give me Milwaukee. Give me Milwaukee. I think Giannis has a field day because I don't think that there's anybody on the Celtics that are able to stop Giannis Antetokounmpo from doing whatever he wants to do. And I really believe that, come crunch time, Giannis with the basketball, just get out of my way and let me do my thing. And he's just going to do whatever he wants and have his will or have his day against the Celtics. I think Tatum and Brown will be able to have great games, but it's just going to come down to who can stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't believe there's anybody on Boston that can stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is going to have a monster day. I expect 40-plus points from Giannis Antetokounmpo. I expect Tatum and Brown both to have great games as well, but you got to also take into consideration Drew Holiday is going to have a great game. I think Chris Middleton's going to have a good game as well, but it's going to come down to Giannis. Who in Boston can stop Giannis Antetokounmpo? The answer, nobody can stop Giannis Antetokounmpo. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks to go into Boston and steal a Christmas Day win from the Celtics.
That might be a great game here, but anyways, this is the prime time game. The future versus the living legend. Ja Morant versus Steph Curry. I mean, these are two of my favorite point guards in the NBA right now going at it in prime time, which I'm looking forward to. I'm not worried about the Warriors, like I said. I do think that they're going to have a good stretch run, getting back into the top 5 in the West when it's all said and done. But the Memphis Grizzlies, man, they are in another level right now. I mean, this is a young team that has a lot of homegrown talent that is turning out to be a super team here in Memphis. And this is 2.0 of Grind City right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. Isaiah, I'm going to pick the Memphis Grizzlies to win. I just don't think this Warriors team, if you have an aging Klay Thompson or Draymond or Steph that could guard Ja Morant. What about you, Isaiah?
I'm going to pick the Grizzlies because right now Curry's not playing. That's a big blow to them. He's not going to be playing in this game. And Loro, I got to respectfully disagree with you. I am extremely worried about the Golden State Warriors. I think Golden State will get to the postseason, but I think that their time as champions in the NBA, I think that their run of finals after finals after finals, and I think that their dynasty of winning championships, it is all over because Stephen Curry's aging. He's getting injured now a lot, like we saw. Klay Thompson, he's very inconsistent when it comes to shooting the basketball. Those injuries have definitely taken a big toll on him. Draymond Green looks like that. He's got one foot out the door in Golden State, but that's not the big issue. The stars are not the big issues for the Warriors. What is the big issue for the Warriors is that they don't have a lot of depth. And when the Warriors were going great, they had a lot of depth. Their statement was strength in numbers. They don't have any strength in numbers this year. They are super reliant on their stars like Curry, Draymond Green, Thompson, Jordan Poole, losing guys like JTA, losing guys like Gary Payton, losing guys like, JaVale McGee in the past, that's really, really hurt the Warriors. Jordan Poole, he's a guy that, is hot and cold. Steph Curry's injured right now. Draymond Green is looking like he wants to get out of Golden State after this season. Klay Thompson, he looks like he's going to retire in a couple of seasons. And then the young talent's just not stepping up. Wiseman. I mean, they shouldn't even have taken Wiseman in the first place. I was a big proponent of the Warriors drafting LaMelo Ball because a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people are going to clap back at me and say, oh, but the Golden State Warriors needed a center. The Golden State Warriors need someone that can protect the paint. Yeah, I get that. They do need that. But, here's the thing. What is James Wiseman's biggest strengths? His strengths are that he's a back-to-the-basket center. The Warriors' offenses never ran their offense through a guy who was back to the basket. That's why Andrew Bogut never worked out in Golden State when the Warriors had their great run. That's why he was only playing like 20 minutes. It's because their offense is so guard-oriented that they run their offense outside of the perimeter. They don't throw the ball into the center and let him do his work in the paint and let him do his thing. They never do that. I think James Wiseman would be a better fit for the Los Angeles Lakers than he would be for the Golden State Warriors. That's why I never understood that pick from the beginning because the Warriors, they never needed a guy that could have or that was used to having his back to the basket. That's what Wiseman is. He's like DeAndre Ayton with the great post game but without a jumper. The Warriors, from their big man, they need a guy that can stretch the floor. They need a guy that all he does is catch lobs and stretch the floor. That's what they need. They need a JaVale McGee type of a big man, and that's why LaMelo Ball would have been the perfect pick for the Golden State Warriors. LaMelo Ball, you could have had LaMelo and Jordan Poole. When Curry goes down, no problem. We just put LaMelo Ball in and he runs the offense. Klay Thompson's not shooting the ball well. Who cares? Jordan Poole steps right up in the starting lineup, and you can have Ball and Poole be your, quote unquote, Splash Brothers 2.0 for the Golden State Warriors. I thought that pick of Wiseman is going to be the root of why Golden State will never, ever, ever get back to their dominant ways. They should have never taken Wiseman to begin with. You have Looney. Looney's the perfect big man for the Golden State Warriors. And right now, they just don't have any depth. Their defense is not that good at all. Guys are getting injured left and right. It's a bizarre season for Golden State. And I think the Warriors will get into the playoffs low roll, but I don't think they'll win another title because, Draymond's a free agent after this season. Everybody's aging. I think for the Warriors, it's time to turn the page and go to developing the next championship core.
Yeah, especially like Jordan Poole and also Kuminga, Moody. Those are the next people in line for the Warriors.
They are, but right now their development is getting stunted because of all the stars that are playing, and right now they're on the bench. They would be better off on a rebuilding team than they would be on a championship contending team. That's why Moody struggled. That's why Kuminga struggled. They're not getting the necessary minutes and playing time to be able to successfully develop.
The last game of the NBA Christmas Day special is the Phoenix Suns going up against the Denver Nuggets. This could be a Western Conference Finals preview here, Isaiah. Nikola Jokic versus Chris Paul. The Suns now have new ownership now. And anyways, here, Isaiah, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts? Who do you like in this game?
Oh, man. This is going to be another excellent game. Although I don't think it will top the Sixers-Knicks game. I'm going to go with Denver. I think that the Denver Nuggets with the home cooking is really going to help fuel them. Devin Booker and Chris Paul are going to have outstanding games, but I think it's going to come down to the matchup between DeAndre Ayton and Nikola Jokic, and I think Jokic is going to absolutely bully the heck out of them and be the difference of why the Denver Nuggets win this game. Jamal Murray is going to ball out. Michael Porter Jr. is going to ball out. I think the Nuggets, their complementary pieces are going to do great, but it's going to come down to Jokic versus Ayton. And I just think that Ayton hasn't shown that he can go toe-to-toe with a top big man. Jokic just get absolutely bully the crap out of him. Give me Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets to, I'll say, win this game by about 8 points.
I could see that too. Chardol says that he wants the Warriors to win, and then he's going to go with the Denver Nuggets to beat the Phoenix Suns to beat the Nuggets. And then he also says go Devin Booker. Anyways, here we're going to talk some baseball here. I mean, Isaiah, since you joined us late, Trevor Bauer has been reinstated with a reduced suspension for 194 games. But the Dodgers plan to release him. What are your thoughts on this?
My thoughts on it was that, I'm not surprised, to be honest, because I thought that an arbitrator was always going to cut the suspension in half because he never got convicted. He, didn't, the lady that accused him of striking her, she refused to cooperate. So they really didn't have any hard evidence to be able to really, ban him, not just ban him for life, but to really punish him heavily. So I think that the lack of hard evidence really did MLB in this front. I think that honestly, he probably will get a second chance because he's a very talented pitcher. And a lot of these clubs, a lot of these owners, they really don't care about what happens off the field. You've seen a lot of guys get, do stupid stuff and they end up getting second chances. If you're not proven guilty, you'll get a second chance. So I think that he will get a second chance. I know the Dodgers are releasing him, which, honestly, I don't know if they should because they do have some issues with pitching because they, Bauer's or not Bauer, but Buehler's out for the year. They do have Tyler Anderson's gone in the Angels. I know they signed Syndergaard, but I think Bauer would be excellent depth because we know he can pitch and pitch at a very high level. But I think that you will see another team take a chance on him. I could see a rebuilding team that, wants the headlines, taking a chance on him like the Marlins and just flipping him at the deadline for some prospects if he in fact balls out. So I think that I wasn't surprised by the decision. I definitely do not condone any of the stuff that Trevor Bauer was accused of doing. And I think that he will get picked up. Because the team, always there's one team out there that always wants to give second chances, and he's a very talented pitcher, and I think we'll see him play baseball again this upcoming season.
So you're saying that you think the Dodgers are probably going to just move on from him?
I think they are, but I think they are making a mistake by doing that because I think that they need some starting pitching depth.
Well, they have Syndergaard and all that, and they got to
do, but Syndergaard is inconsistent, though. That's the thing with Syndergaard. Like, you never know what Noah Syndergaard you'll get on a consistent basis, and I think, you can't have enough pitching. You can't have enough pitching, and that's why I think Bauer would be good for the Dodgers. You could put him as like a fifth starter or whatever, and you would actually be getting a number 1 or number 2 pitcher as your fifth starter.
Anyways, now we got to talk about, we're going to go to the Big Apple next in this next topic of baseball. I mean, first we talk about Carlos Correa is now a New York Met after a failed physical with the Giants. So anyways here, my thoughts on this, Isaiah, is that I thought the Giants had a deal made in place for him, Isaiah, but now Carlos Correa is now joining the Big Apple. This is kind of like if you look at the Mets, Derek Jeter, A-Rod 2.0. A-Rod was a shortstop. He joined the Yankees to be a third baseman, but now it's Carlos Correa that was a shortstop. And then you talk about Correa now being a third baseman for the Mets. And now they just traded James McCann. Now Eduardo Escobar is on the trade block.
This was the shocking. Let me rephrase that. This was the most shocking news of the last 5 years. I mean, we've never seen this in baseball. I was stunned when I heard the news that Carlos Correa was going to the Mets. I thought he was still going to the Giants. I know he failed his physical, or there were some concerns, but I thought that he was still going to go to the Giants, and they were going to work something out. That's why this whole 180 turn of events really, really stunned me. I never thought that the Mets were going to swoop in to make this move. The Giants, my gosh, you fumbled this big time, man, and you could have had a franchise player. I know that there was some issues that came out. I know Correa's been injury prone, but the thing that really stood out about the Giants, about the physical to the Giants, was an injury he suffered in the minor leagues in 2014, which yeah, it was an ankle injury, but we've seen Carlos Correa has never had any issues running with running because of that ankle injury. That injury is completely healed. So I don't understand what Farhan and the Giants ownership were doing. This was a complete fumble by the Giants. And now the Giants, I don't know where you go because there's no stars left. You promise your fan base, we're going to spend, we're going to spend, we're going to spend, and we're going to get our stars. And, we're going to get a lot of stars. And Aaron Judge nearly went to the Giants. And now Correa, and they're so heartbroken right now because you couldn't get any of that done. And now the Giants are left without a star. Like I told you earlier, Loro, in a call, I expect the Giants to still do a splash this offseason, whether that's trading for Brian Reynolds or whether that's trading for Pablo Lopez or Jesus Luzardo or any of the top trade names out there. I expect the Giants to still do something because they promised their fan base that they would make a splash, and you cannot go into the offseason with just Mitch Haniger being your big splash. I guarantee if you do that, the Oracle Park will be like the Oakland Coliseum. There will be no fans that will show up if you, in fact, go into the season with Mitch Haniger being your splash. So I think the Giants will make a splash. I don't know who that's going to be. And also, in terms of Correa to the Mets, for the Mets side, I think that this is a huge move for the Mets because they got him cheaper and on a 1 year shorter deal than what the Giants got him. So this is, great news for the Mets. Now you have Correa, you at third, you have Lindor at short, Jeff McNeil at second, Pete Alonso at first. I mean, that lineup was already extremely loaded. Now they'll be even more loaded. Plus you have Eduardo Escobar, solid hitter coming off the bench. You have a great pitching rotation. The NL East is just going to be so much fun to watch next season. I don't know if the Mets will win that division because that division is extremely tough, and there's a lot of great teams with the Braves who added Sean Murphy, the Phillies who went to the World Series, added Trey Turner and Taijuan Walker, and the Mets added Correa. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath in the NL East, and I cannot wait to see who wins. But this is a brutal, brutal, brutal loss for the San Francisco Giants and a big Christmas win for the New York Mets.
It is, but if you talk about the Mets here now, if you talk about who's the odd man out, that's Eduardo Escobar, and he's now on the trade block because of the Correa signee.
He is on the trade block, but if I'm the Mets, I'm keeping him on my bench as depth because I know he's not going to be happy. He wants to play every day, but he would be an insane bench piece for you to have. I mean, this dude did not really have a good season in his first year in Queens, but I mean, the guy can hit, he can field. He had he had 69 RBIs last season, 20 homers. He can hit, and if you can keep him as a bench depth with Mark Hanna involved as well, I think
Hanna's going to be playing every day. You're going to expect him to be in left field every day.
That is true, but I mean, if you keep him,
the Mets kept Brendan Nemo. You already know Pete Alonso is going to be the new face of the New York Mets as your franchise leader. If you talk about it,
yeah.
So
I think that for the Mets, I don't know. I would keep him as depth personally because you can't count on injuries too.
Yeah, anyways, now that being said here, you talk about the Mets, they got Verlander, they got Scherzer. Senga is going to be a great piece for them. But, the Mets, I think, are the most complete team in the NL right now if you look at it.
Laura, I got to respectfully disagree. I think that that division is going to be a bloodbath. I think that when you look at the NL right now, you can't you can't you can't you can't disregard the team that just won the NL and the Phillies. I mean, they just got extremely better with the addition of Trey Turner. I know their bullpen still has some issues, question marks, pitching still. I mean, they addressed some stuff by getting Taiwan Walker. They did get a starter. I wish they got Chris Bassett as well. But if I had to look at it right now, I think the Mets, they are a great team. But I think right now, if you look at the team that is a team to beat in the NL, I think it's the Phillies because, the Phillies went to the World Series. They already had an insane lineup with Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, Alec Boehm as well. But you also – and then you go out and add Trey Turner. You go add Taiwan Walker to the pitching rotation next to Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. You add Matt Strahm in the bullpen. I think right now the Philadelphia Phillies, in my opinion, is the top team in the NL. And until they got knocked off, they are the top team in the NL.
And don't forget about the Braves. Now that they have two of your former A's in Sean Murphy and Matt Olson.
Yeah.
And anyways, here now, we have to stay in New York. We go to the Bronx as Carlos Rodon is officially a New York Yankee. And Aaron Judge is officially the next Yankee captain, Isaiah. So we got to start with Aaron Judge first. I mean, we both knew, Isaiah, that he wasn't going anywhere.
No. I don't think any of us thought that he was going to go anywhere.
And Aaron Judge chose legacy over money. And that's why he loves wearing the pinstripes. The Yankees are going to still be a great team with Judge. That lineup is still stacked with Aaron Judge. But the Yankees got better with within the rotation because you have Cole, Cortez, Sevy, Montas, and then you add Carlos Rodon to that picture. What is your thoughts on Carlos Rodon officially joining the Bronx?
I think that the New York Yankees just clinched another AL East title, and I think that they are definitely, in my opinion, I'm going to go bold here. I think the New York Yankees are the favorites in the American League because their issues, their biggest weakness was pitching. Starting pitching really let them down in the postseason. Now you add Rodon, who had a dominant season with the Giants, who had a dominant season with the White Sox the year before that. So he has shown that he's durable, and he's shown that he's a great pitcher. So the Yankees needed another pitcher. They got Rodon, and you add that to that rotation. That rotation is going to be absolutely nasty, and it's going to be so deep next season. Judge coming back really helped. Rizzo coming back is really going to help. I think the Yankees, what they need to get is, I think they need to make if we're going to go Bo, you went for Rodon, you got Bo, you went for you brought back Judge. You are in it to win it. Go get Brian Reynolds. Go get Brian Reynolds if I'm the Yankees, because you need an outfielder after Benintendi left, a guy that can put the ball in play, a guy that is not a strikeout or home run type of a hitter. You need that to balance out your lineup. But I think right now how the Yankees are stacked, I know the bullpen has some question marks, but you have Trevino, you have Clay Holmes there. The New York Yankees, in my opinion, they're the favorites for the American League.
And they sure are with the additions that they made here. But we stay in the American League East. Kenley, you talk about a Dodger reunion in Boston. And you talk, obviously, Xander Bogaerts is now a San Diego Padre, and I think the Red Sox have just lowballed him. Rafael Devers could be the next one to go, which we'll have to talk about that in a little bit. What was your thoughts on Justin Turner leaving the Dodgers to join the Boston Red Sox? He's reuniting with Kike, Alex Verdugo, and of course, Kenley Jansen.
I was a little bit surprised because I thought he would stay a Dodger. But it makes sense after they get Martinez because Martinez is now going to be the DH. The Dodgers really don't have room for him unless they wanted to put him as a bench player, which, I mean, for a guy that's Justin Turner, I mean, he's never going to accept that. So I was a little bit shocked in that regards. I thought that he would stay a Dodger, but after Martinez signed, I wasn't that shocked anymore. I think he's going to do very well in Boston. You know, hitters friendly ballpark, better than Chavez Ravine. It's the fences are very very in. His bat's going to play with the monster. He's a doubles machine. He can still hit. He just needs to stay healthy. And I think that going to Boston, it's going to be a little bit of a transition because when guys that have been career NL hitters or career AL hitters, they always, when they go to a different league, they always have to have a tough transition in the beginning because they're getting used to the AL pitchers. But I think once he gets over it, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll flourish in Boston.
Oh, I think he will, but you talk about Xander Bogaerts now leaving for the Padres, and do you have any thoughts on the Red Sox lowballing Xander Bogaerts, and now he joins Callen's team in the Padres?
I think the Red Sox are headed for a rebuild. I think that it's a matter of time until Rafael Devers, which we'll talk about later on in the show, he gets traded. I think that Devers is going to be dealt soon. I think that you're going to see him go to some other team. Boston and him are definitely just far apart right now. And it just looks like Chaim Bloom wants to tear this team apart and just rebuild. And just kind of treat the Red Sox like the Rays and the A's. So that's my overall thoughts. Is I just think that it's a matter of time until Devers is gone.
Yeah, we have to talk about that a little bit. We have to talk about where he will go. Does he get traded now, or does he sign with the Phillies or the Dodgers? We'll have to find out here. But JD Martinez is now a Dodger. I mean, I've always liked JD Martinez. He reunites with his former hitting instructor, Robert Van Scoyoc, who is the Dodgers hitting coach. He helped JD Martinez revamp that swing of his. And I think Robert Van Scoyoc played into that decision for JD Martinez to be a Dodger. And if you talk about Isaiah, everybody is saying that the Dodgers are going to take a step back and all that. They're not going to have the season like the Rams are having right now. I'm giving you an example for this, Isaiah, but the Dodgers are still a 95 to 100 win team with the roster that they have right now. And that when they added JD Martinez can still make an impact on offense.
JD Martinez going to the Dodgers, I think that it's going to be great for him and also for the Dodgers because they get an accomplished hitter. And they get a guy who has won a World Series to be in that lineup next to Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and others in the lineup. And it adds a lot of power to that lineup, a power that they lost when Trey Turner left and other people left as well. I mean, JD Martinez can still hit. Last year he had kind of a down year. 16 home runs. He only played in 139 games, 16 home runs, 62 RBIs. The power was down, but he hit 274. So it wasn't like he hit 210 or 215 or whatever like that. He can still hit, and he can still hit at an exceptional level. He's going to be the DH for the Dodgers. I think that, I heard he took less money to sign with the Dodgers, which I think for him, it's good because he's at a point in his career. He's 35 years of age. He wants to go to a team that wants to win. So I think it's good for him. I think that, with Freeman there, with Betts, with, the other guys that they have there, I think that it's going to be good for him because he will offer a lot of protection for him and he doesn't have to put the team on his back. So expect rejuvenated JD Martinez. Expect a guy that will hit about 300. I think he has 30-plus home runs, and I think he drives it over 100 because you're going to have Freeman on base, Betts on base when JD comes to the plate, and it's going to be crazy when JD comes to the plate. So expect a rejuvenated JD Martinez.
Yeah, and then I do think JD Martinez is going to help the Dodgers. What's next for the Dodgers is I think they got to get another left-handed bat in their lineup, especially to play the outfield here.
They do. I do think they do have to. I know you
Like,
mentioned
I think Jason Hayward's going to make the team out of spring training, but I am still hopeful. But we'll talk about Christmas wishes for our sports teams here. I have the Dodgers actually signing Michael Conforto as a reclamation project.
and I know we've disagreed on that one. I haven't going to the Giants because I think the Giants need to make some sort of a splash after the Correa fiasco. But when I look at this potential move for the Dodgers, I mean, it would make sense for Conforto to go there. But I think if you're the Dodgers, why not go after a Brian Reynolds? Why not go after? He said he wants out of Pittsburgh already. Why not? Go after him. I mean, because you're a team that wants to win a championship now, and Brian Reynolds would help a lot of teams that are trying to win a championship.
Yeah. So, anyways, here now we got to talk about this. Dansby Swanson is in the Windy City, and he is now a member of the Northsiders, the Chicago Cubs, and makes sense because his wife plays for a professional soccer team in Chicago, which is also a women's league here. So I think Dansby Swanson, what you're getting out of him and what the Cubs are getting out of him, Isaiah, is a guy that is going to be great as a middle infielder with Nico Horner. And you also know the Cubs added Cody Bellinger, who I think is going to revive his career there. And Dansby Swanson, I think, is going to be a great piece for the Cubbies here.
You're right. My thoughts on it is I really like this deal because they didn't pay him a lot of money, or like what Correa, Turner, Bogarts, what they got, those insane amount of money. They got him on a reasonable deal. 7 years, $177 million. I think that it's perfect for him. And he's going to be the leader of the Cubs now. I don't think he was ever going back to the Braves because they already had Grisham there. They had other guys on the come up. I think for the Cubs is a good move because he's still young, and he fits into a team that has a lot of young talent with Nico Horner and others that they have there, and Bellinger as well. Trying to he's still young as well. The Cubs are a team that I think is on the come up, and I think they're about 1 or 2 years away. I don't think they're ready to win now, but they're 1 or 2 years away. They're a few pieces away, but I like the direction of where they're going, and I think Dansby will thrive as the leader of the Cubs right now. And I think for the Dodgers, I'm going to go back to the Dodgers. The Dodgers should have gotten Dansby. That was the guy that I thought they were going to get because you could have had him for cheaper than what Turner would have gotten, and you would have still had more money to get other people as well. So,
but the Dodgers seem to be very comfortable with Gavin Lux as their starting shortstop.
Yeah, which looks like it now. But I think I was kind of stunned that Dansby didn't go to the Dodgers because I thought that he was definitely ticketed for LA.
Yeah, and he would have reunited with his buddy, Freddie Freeman. But anyways, we have to debate this. Do you think Rafael Devers should get traded now? Or do you think he waits until free agency and signs with either your Philadelphia Phillies or to my Dodgers? And I'm going to go first here. I think the Dodgers, have the assets to make this trade to get Rafael Devers. I know Mookie's going to have a big part in this, and I do think that he probably will give up a top. I think to get Devers, it is going to take a top pitching prospect to Boston. I don't think the Dodgers would want to give up Bobby Miller or something like that, but I do think that the cost for Devers could be high. Like you could have guys on your current roster, one prospect, and also cash considerations as well. But it might have to take a third team to get there. But anyways, here, if Isaiah's back, we'll get his thoughts on this, and then also we will go to Santa's wish list before we get into the Christmas debates. So, anyways, here Isaiah and I will talk about 3 wishes for our teams this Christmas coming up. So, Anyways, here, Isaiah, if you're back now, now that the Red Sox, they parted with Mookie, they parted with Zonder now, Rafael Devers, I think, is next in line. So I predict that if the Dodgers make a trade for Devers, I think he will sign an extension. I think he signs an extension wherever he goes, either in LA or in Philly, because he's a free agent after the 23 season, or I see him playing out the 23 season with Boston and then coming back and then signing with the Dodgers or the Phillies in 24. What about you, Isaiah? What do you think Rafael Devers is right now? Do you think he gets traded now, or do you think he signs with your Phillies or to my Dodgers in 24?
I think he gets traded. I think it's a matter of time until he gets traded. They're too far apart on a deal. He's not coming back after this season. I think I don't think we'll see Rafael Devers end next season with the Boston Red Sox. He won't be there in the second half. I can guarantee you that right now. And I know Ben is not going to like what I'm saying, but, I got to give you guys the truth. I think that Rafael Devers, I don't really think the Phillies need him because they covered Alec Bohm. They have him as well. I'm trying to think of teams that really need a.
I said the Dodgers because they have the prospects to make this deal done. Like how we got Mookie here. We didn't have to give up a top prospect like a Dustin May or a Bobby Miller or something like that. But I do see the Dodgers being a fit for Rafael Devers, and I do think Mookie will play a big role in getting Rafael Devers to the Dodgers.
I mean, they could be a fit, but I'm looking at some of the suitors right now that could be potential suitors. I mean, it's the Marlins, I think, could be a fit. Although, I mean, if I'm the Marlins, I'm not trading big pieces for him because you're only going to have him for like 1 year. I don't think he's going to re-sign in Miami because Miami needs a bat. They need a big bat. That's what they need. In terms of like other guys or in terms of like other destinations, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I think Seattle maybe could be a spot. They want to win right now. But yeah, that's about it. Seattle.
Yeah, I think it's between the Dodgers and the Mariners for Rafael Devers, but I do think that you're going to have to give up a lot in return, and the Dodgers have the prospects to do that. But I also could see maybe the Guardians. They have a lot of prospects that they could deal. And Chardot says he will sign with the Yankees, and I'm like, has it worked for the Yankees to sign Boston Red Sox players? Not necessarily, but
Johnny Damon did work out. That was the one guy that worked out.
If you talk about Devers, and if he is a Yankee, it's going to work out because Rafael Devers will provide that left-handed bat that the Yankees are looking for to balance out their lineup.
The Yankees do make sense, because they do need a third baseman after this season. I mean, Donaldson's probably going to be gone after this season, so they do need a third baseman. It could work out.
It definitely could. But anyways, Giants
Giants is another one. Watch out for San Francisco. They desperately want a star. I could see San Francisco making a trade for Rafael Devers right now, considering they don't really have a guy covering third base that is the stature of Rafael Devers. So the Giants, I think that could be
on the roster. Then I do think the Dodgers would make sense to me. For Rafael Devers, you could trade Trevor Bauer to Boston, and Boston can have his contract if they want.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but for me, I'm still going to the likelihood is probably the Giants, given the fact that Farhan said we're gonna make a splash, we're gonna spend, and you cannot have Mitch Haniger be your top free agent acquisition. To start the season.
Who are the Giants going to give up? Do they have a lot of prospects to give up for Rafael Devers and for the Giants to give him an extension? I think the Giants will give him an extension, but I do think I think that you got to throw in Heliot Ramos into that deal.
And I would do it in a heartbeat because Rafael Devers could be a franchise player for the San Francisco Giants. He's still very, very young. He could be the cornerstone that this franchise needs. I mean, he's only 26 years of age, and he's a great hitter. Hit 295 last year. He's showing no signs of decline. I mean, he's going up, up, up right now. So I think Devers to San Francisco is definitely a legit option.
Yeah, so anyways, here now, we're going to talk about our Santa's wish list for sports teams before we bring Utkarsh and the guys on for some Christmas fun. So anyways, here, my 3 wishes to grant my sports teams this year are for the Lakers, get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. For my Dodgers, I'd love for them to sign Michael Conforto because he fits our outfield and to kind of help fill the void for Cody Bellinger. But I also put in trade for Rafael Devers because I think Mookie's going to play a big part in that role right there. And then for my Patriots, a new offensive coordinator for sure. I do not like Matt Patricia. I am sick and tired of him. I know Isaiah is laughing at me for this because Matt Patricia has been a disgrace. The offense is taking a step back because of Matt Patricia, even though I know that his credentials are more of the defensive side of the football. But Matt Patricia cannot run an offense, and I want a new offensive coordinator for my Patriots. So those are kind of my 3 wishes, what I want Santa to grant my sports teams this year. What about you, Isaiah? And I know you laughed at me because of what I said about the whole Matt Patricia thing.
Yes, I did. 3 wishes for my teams. Number 1, okay, let's talk about the 49ers. I think that my wish for Santa, please, Santa, grant my 49ers and Brock Purdy a Super Bowl trip. That's what I want. I don't care if we win it or not. Give me, my guy Brock Purdy, a Super Bowl trip because I believe he's going to be the franchise quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. And I think that if he makes the Super Bowl, there is no doubt that Brock Purdy will be the franchise quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. This kid is a great kid. I mean, look at the story. From Mr. Irrelevant to potentially playing in a Super Bowl, like that would be an amazing story. Please, Santa, help Brock Purdy stay healthy and complete the story that the journey and make it a great storybook ending. That's my number 1 wish. Number 2, for the Lakers, please do something. I don't care what you do. Kuzma, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, Zach LaVine, make a trade, please. We are a team that can get to the playoffs. We are a team that can get to the 9th seed, get to the play-in tournament, win a play-in game, and get to the playoffs. The Lakers, please make a trade. That's all I'm asking for. Just make a trade. And then the last one, I'm not going to go with the Phillies because Trey Turner, Santa already granted Trey Turner my Phillies. I'm going to go with the A's. I want Brandon Bell. Give me Brandon Bell. The A's need a first baseman right now. I know Seth Brown, you could play him at first, but we just need a name that we could just.
He's got Trevor May and also Ledmus Diaz. Those guys are not everyday. I mean, Diaz is not an everyday player, but Trevor May is a good back end guy that you could use.
Yeah, he is. He is. But I mean, give us something that we could cheer about, and give us Brandon Bell. I mean, we could sign him a 1-year deal, a prove-it deal, prove that he's not injury-prone, let him hit a bunch of home runs, and then we could just trade him off at the deadline. I think Brandon Bell would be a great fit for the Oakland A's. He could fill the void at first base right now and add more pop to our lineup.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about that, but hope you liked our 3 wishes here, but when we come back, we will have Christmas debates. Utkarsh, Hasma, and Seiram will be joining us momentarily, but we will get them on there right now as we are heading to commercial break.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Christmas fun portion of the show. I'll be your moderator for this portion of the show. Thank you so much, Loro, for doing a great job in the first part of the show, and that was the sports part of this program. But we'll give some introductions first. We have Utkarsh here, we have Hamza, and we have Shriram on here tonight. Let's start with you, Utkarsh. Why don't you? I know you were on our Thanksgiving special, but why don't you introduce yourself to the fans out there?
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Utkarsh Nath, and I'm currently a junior in college, and my major is computer engineering. So I'm really interested in technology because I know how it changing the world a lot these days. These days, I'm seeing technology everywhere in life, like 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 from my house to stores to cities, everywhere I'm seeing it. I've seen that technology is really changing the world. Like not just in computers, like in all forms, computers and iPhones, whatever. It's, and technology is a great way to it's a great way to interact with others and great to interact with others and also to maybe have fun too.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome, Utkarsh. Let's go to Shuram. Why don't you give the fans a little brief introduction about yourself?
Oh yes. So I am Sriram Venugopal. I own a YouTube channel called Diamond Mining 84, which is my own personal identity. I am a seventh year student at Ohlone College studying digital arts and interactive design. I'm a part or half time ride operator at California's Great America. And I'm also and you know and my and I'm not unlike cars. I'm not interested in technology. I'm more into airplanes and fast moving vehicles.
Nice, nice, nice. Hamza, you were on earlier, but yeah, why don't you give us or give the fans a introduction about yourself?
Okay, well, I'm Hamza Shah. I'm currently studying statistics and data science in CSUEB, and I'm interested in doing some data analytics for sports industry.
Nice, nice. So to start off our Christmas fun portion of the show, as you guys know, Christmas is in about 3 days, this Sunday actually. So we gotta talk about some holiday foods, and we're gonna debate some of these like holiday food topics. So we gotta go to the $1,000,000 question that we have on here. I don't know if you guys can see it very clearly, but
I can read it.
what is the best Christmas drink? There's one that's yeah, what is the best Christmas drink out of this? Is it apple cider? Is it pumpkin spice latte, hot cocoa, or is it eggnog? For me, I'm actually gonna go with the OG. I'm gonna go with hot cocoa because I'm a big fan of chocolate. It's a lot of the hot cocos you get at the coffee shop are so creamy. Plus, you have the whipped cream. You can put like the red and green sprinkles, and you have a candy cane in there, man. It's freaking amazing. I love hot cocoa. Plus, I mean, you have hot cocoa with marshmallows. That also takes exceptionally well. So, and you can just sit there on a cool day or a cool night, watch a movie with a blanket on. I mean, it's just truly a Christmas treat. But Laurel, I'll go to you next on this. What is the best Christmas drink? Is it apple cider? Is it pumpkin spice latte? Is it eggnog? Or is it hot cocoa?
Oh, I gotta go with apple cider. I drink that pretty much every Christmas or New Year's Eve, but I also like hot cocoa too because hot chocolate is the best on a cold winter's night.
Totally, totally agree with you. And our number one fan, Chardol, says for him it's hot chocolate. He also says, I'm a big fan of hot chocolate and it's a great drink to have during the Christmas season. Totally agree with you there. Utkarsh, on this, what is your out of all of these four? What is the drink that is your go-to? Is it hot apple cider? Is it pumpkin spice latte? Is it eggnog or is it hot cocoa?
Okay, so my favorite drink of all is apple cider. The reason is because usually every day I usually drink like fruit. I drink juice like almost every single day in my life, and I just love juice a lot, especially like organic juice, especially when it's organic. And apple cider is one of them because I've drinking apple juice a lot, and cider is like almost like juice. It's almost like apple cider, almost like juice. So I will go with apple cider.
All right, Utkarsh goes with apple cider. Let's go with Shriram. How about you? What is your out of all these four? What is your go-to Christmas drink?
Definitely hot cocoa, hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate, especially on a winter or cold winter season. I love to drink hot chocolate.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. How about you, Hamza? You look at this chart right now. What is your go-to Christmas drink?
I'm going to go with apple cider.
All right, so we have a split between hot chocolate and apple cider. But yeah, tell us, the fans that are watching right now, tell us your favorite Christmas drink. Is it apple cider? Is it pumpkin spice latte? Is it hot cocoa? Or is it eggnog? We would definitely like to know what your choices are. But we also got to debate this, fellas. And this is, a Christmas snack that, everybody has had debates over. And that is which is better? Is it a candy cane? Or which one would you prefer? Is it a candy cane or is it gingerbread cookies? For me, I'm torn on this because I love gingerbread cookies. I have a lot in my home right now. But for me, I gotta go with candy canes because candy canes you can take anywhere, at any time. It's great to, give, your coworkers, your friends, your neighbors as Christmas gifts. You can just pass them out to spread the holiday spirit. And also, it's like, who doesn't like mints? So I got to go with, for me, it's the candy cane. Also, if you guys, I don't know if you guys can see it clearly, but, candy canes, when you think about Christmas, candy canes are always like a big symbol of Christmas. So I got to go with the candy cane as my choice. But, so I'm going to go with candy cane. Loro, how about you? Are you going with gingerbread cookies or are you going to go with candy canes as your best Christmas snack?
I'm going with gingerbread cookies because I always love making them at times, and gingerbread cookies, they taste deliciously good.
They do. Are you doing a gingerbread house this year, Loro?
No, not at all. I just like eating Christmas cookies and Christmas candy.
Totally agree there. Utkarsh, we're going to go to you next. What's your favorite Christmas snack? Is it gingerbread cookies or is it candy canes?
My favorite Christmas snack is gingerbread cookies because they kind of remind me of the cookies because they remind me of the cookies in a gingerbread house. And also the ones, and something, at Costco, there was a time I had these cookies in Costco that look like gingerbread cookies, like these kind of lotus cookies. They're like lotus. I found these in Costco. These lotus cookies in a pack, and they're kind of like gingerbread. They're kind of like gingerbread cookies. They're almost like gingerbread cookies to me. So they're so good. I've tried them. So I would go with gingerbread cookies.
Okay, so Utkarsh goes with gingerbread cookies. Chardol says, I also have to go with candy canes, and they always remind me of the Christmas season, and it really gets me into the holiday spirit. And I love that they come in many different flavors. That is true. I forgot about that. They do come in many different flavors. Shuram, if you're still there, I think he's dealing with something right now. Hamza, how about you? What is your favorite Christmas snack? Is it gingerbread cookies or is it candy cane?
I like gingerbread cookies. I really love the taste of it, and I love the way that it has a lot of sprinkles to it, and the decoration really stands out over anything else.
Yeah, that is true for sure. Shuram, do we have you now?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had to get out. I had to help my mom with something. So what is the question again?
Yeah, the question is, what is your favorite Christmas snack? Help us settle this debate. Is it candy canes or is it gingerbread cookies?
I will go with gingerbread.
So
Very
we have
tasty. You know, like the gingerbread cookies are either flavored or they're plain. But either way, they taste good. Just the flavor adds, just this frosting adds a little bit more flavor. Just and so the hope that settles it.
So we have an overwhelming majority of people that choose gingerbread over candy canes. So that kind of settles the two debates right there. But now we're going to go into our Christmas trivia. Everybody's going to have 3 questions each. We're going to go by points. So if you get your question right, you get 1 point. If you get it wrong, you don't get any points. So basically, whoever answers it correct, and you also you could steal the answer. So after the one person goes, for example, Laurel gets it wrong, anybody in the group can just shout out an answer and just steal the answer. So we're gonna go to our Christmas trivia. Everybody's gonna get 3 questions each to answer. So let's go. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right, Laurel's gonna go first. Laurel, your first question here is it's gonna be a pretty easy one. How do you say Merry Christmas in Spanish?
Feliz Navidad.
That is correct. Feliz Navidad is correct. Uh, so Laurel's at 1 point right now. Utkarsh is next up on this list. And we're gonna start off, with a very, very easy one. Utkarsh, what is Santa Claus's nickname?
Santa Claus nickname. Is it? I think. Is it? I think. Santa Claus. Is it? Is it Father Christmas?
No, that is incorrect. Does anybody else want to steal this? Go
Saint
ahead,
Nick.
Laura. Saint Nick, that's right. Saint Nick. So Lowell's at 2. Everybody else doesn't have a point right now. Shuram, you got the next question. Shuram, your next question is in Home Alone. Where are the McAllisters going on vacation when they leave Kevin behind?
They were going to Paris, France.
Yes, correct. They were going to Paris. So Shrim's at 1, Laurel's at 2. Hamza, your next question, buddy, is what do people traditionally put on top of a Christmas tree?
Mistletoe.
No, that's actually not correct. Does
I
anybody
think
else want to go?
I think I know that.
Go, Utkarsh.
I know this one. It's a.
Go ahead.
It's a star.
Yes, Utkarsh got it. So Laurel's at 2, Utkarsh 1, Shriram 1, and Hamza is at 0 right now. So we're gonna go to Laurel for your second question. For your second question of the night, Laurel. Your second question of the night is what did the other reindeers not let Rudolph do because of his shiny red nose?
To not play in reindeer games.
Yes, that's correct. That was the answer. They didn't let Rudolph join in any reindeer games. So Laurel's at 3, Utkarsh at 1, Shurum's at 1, and Hamza is at 0 right now. Utkarsh, your next question.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch? Which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
Popular Christmas beverage. Popular Christmas beverage. Is it milk punch?
Yeah, it's a nickname for it.
I don't know.
Anybody else want to steal?
What was the question again?
Which Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
Hot chocolate.
No, that's incorrect. Shrum, you want to answer?
I'm gonna go with figgy pudding.
No. Loro?
What's the question again?
Which popular Christmas beverage is also called milk punch?
Oh wait,
Ooh.
I think I know this one.
Go ahead, Hamza.
Peppermint mocha.
No, that's incorrect. Loro, you want to go?
Is it eggnog?
Yes, that's correct. It's eggnog. Eggnog is actually nicknamed milk punch by a lot of folks out there. So Chardot also got that correct, but it is 4. Laura with 4, Utkarsh with 1, Shuram with 1. Shuram, your next question. Let's see. Your next question. Trying to get some of these Christmas questions, guys. Oh, right here. What is the famous Christmas song that Mariah Carey sung?
All I want for Christmas is you.
Yes, that is correct. So Laura was at 4, Shuram with 2, Karsh with 1. Hamza unfortunately doesn't have any points right now. Hamza, your next question as you try to get on the board is
Get an easy one, please.
yes, I'll try to get you an easy one. Let's see. Trying to go down the list right now. Oh, right here. Okay. So Santa's reindeer, right? There's 3 of them. 3 of Santa's reindeer's names begin with the letter D. Who are those names? Hamza, do you know?
I'm not really familiar with reindeers. Is there some other question that's like song related?
Yeah, let me try to get you let's see. Oh, here's we go. Here we go. What are the 2 words in the song that go after Silent Night?
I'm not familiar with Silent Night. Wait, can you try humming it a little bit?
You want to pass, Hamza? You can pass if you want.
I would like to pass on that one.
All right, and we'll go to the group. Anybody know? 2 words that come after the. Go ahead, Laura. Go ahead.
Holy Night.
Holy Night. That is correct. Also Chardot got that as well. Holy Night. So final question for everybody. We'll go back to the top. Loro, we'll go to you, and this is probably the hardest questions for everybody now, as Loro's got 5, Utkarsh is 1, Shuram with 2, Hamza with 0, unfortunately. All right, for you, Loro, this is your final question. What was the highest viewed Christmas movie of all time?
Miracle on 34th Street.
No, close, but no. Shuram or Utkarsh, you guys wanna take a guess, or Hamza, you can take a guess as well.
What was the question again?
Highest viewed Christmas movie of all time.
The Santa Claus 2 or Home Alone 2.
Home Alone, that is correct. You got it, Hamza. So Hamza's on the board. Laurel's with 5, Shuram with 2, Utkarsh 1, Hamza 1. Utkarsh, here's your final question for the night. Your final question of the night, Utkarsh, is let me see. What was the first company that used Santa Claus in advertising?
The first company, was it Apple?
No, that is not correct. Shram, Hamza, Laurel, you guys want to take a guess?
Could you repeat the
Um,
question, please?
Yeah, it was. What was the first company that used Santa Claus in advertising?
Disney Inc. Disney Inc.
No, that's not correct. Laurel, Shram, go ahead.
I'll go.
Okay.
Is it Coca-Cola?
Yes, it is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was the first company to use Santa Claus in their advertising. So, Laurel's got 6. Shram, you have 2, right?
Yep.
2, and then Utkarsh and Hamza with 1. Let's see. All right, Shram, your last question of the night. Let's see here. We have a lot of great questions. All right, we'll go with this. Okay, right here. Which country started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
Ooh, this one's
That's your
hard.
question, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the last round, man. All the questions are hard.
Oh,
Which
dang,
country
dang. Okay.
started the
I'm gonna go with Israel.
Israel? No, that's not the correct answer.
Oh, I think
Utkarsh,
I know this one.
go, Hamza, go.
Ireland.
No, that's not correct. Close though. Utkarsh, Loro, any guesses?
I think I think I
Go ahead, Utkarsh.
is it. Wait, what was the question?
The question was, which country started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
Putting up a Christmas tree. Is it Germany?
Yes, Germany is correct. Wow, what a guess. So, Utkarsh has 2, Shuram has 2, Hamza's got 1, and Laurel's got 6. The last question of the night goes to Hamza. Hamza, this is your question and the final question of this trivia. And let's see, I'm trying to find a question for you right here. Let's see.
I would prefer something on the easy side because I don't really know like a whole lot of things.
All right. How about this? Which country did the drink eggnog come from? That's your question, Hamza. What country did the drink eggnog come from?
That's a pretty tough one. I'm really not familiar with this.
Take a guess. Just take a guess. You're not going to get penalized if you're wrong. What country did eggnog come from?
Could I have a hint?
A hint? Yeah. Try some countries, Asia and Europe.
But Europe itself has like tons of countries.
I know, but that's like the hint. Fine, I'll give you a bigger hint. Europe, a country in Europe.
Okay.
Just take a guess.
Oh, is it Switzerland?
No, you were close, but it's not Switzerland. Utkarsh, Loro, and Shrum, you guys want to take a guess? What country did eggnog first come from?
France.
France.
No, not correct. Shrum or Utkarsh, you want to take a guess? Any of you two take a
Was
guess?
it eggnog? Let me think. Was it Norway?
No, not Norway. Shrum?
Wait. Is it England?
Yes, it's Britain. You got it. So, yes, England, Britain was actually the first country, or it was the country that eggnog came from. So, So yeah, that's the trivia for tonight. Loro is the winner of this Christmas special trivia. He has 6. Everybody else has 2. Great job to all of you guys that played tonight. Loro, we're actually gonna, before we end the show and go to final thoughts, we're actually gonna do another segment, not of trivia, but in the Christmas fun portion of the show, which is for the 3 guys out here that weren't able to join us for the Santa's wish list, and that is, what are your, instead of you guys giving your 3 wishes for sports, give us your 3 wishes you want as your presents. So, I should go first. What are your 3 wishes for like Christmas presents?
What?
What are your tell the audience your 3 wishes that you want for Christmas presents?
I mean, Christmas. I don't really have anything. I don't think I have anything. To be honest.
Oh, is there any like 3 things you want?
I don't really need anything. No, not. I don't think I need anything this year.
Okay. Shuro, give me 3 things you want for Christmas this year.
Well, there are 3 abstract things. Okay, so the things I want for Christmas is to be able to reconnect with others, reconnect with other sides of the family. That's what's important in Christmas. Okay, and that's love. That's an abstract thing. Okay, and it's what everybody wants for Christmas. Family. Number
Anyways,
2,
we're go ahead.
and then number 2, we're gonna make new friendships. Right, that's what Christmas is all about. And number 3, well, number 3, I wished for a gaming computer because it would help me render my 3D art. That would make a best Christmas gift.
All right. I mean, we're going to go to Husma here as Isaiah is losing his voice here. So, Husma, what are your 3 wishes for Christmas gifts?
My 3 wishes for Christmas gifts. If I have to give 3 wishes, one of them would be to be able to, of course, reconnect with family from out of the area, right? And a second wish would be to see the Niners making the playoffs with Brock Purdy. And then my third wish would be to see um like that coach Shanahan staying with the Niners for a long time.
I'm going to go to Isaiah here before we head to final thoughts here. What are your 3 wishes for Christmas?
My 3 wishes. Number 1, I want a Brock Purdy jersey, which I probably won't get because they're selling out fast right now. Number 2, I want Georgia to crush Ohio State in the playoff game. I know Laurel wouldn't want that because he doesn't want to see Georgia win again. And number 3, how about a model airplane that has a model Alaska Airlines airplane? That's what I want.
For me, I would want my first wish on Christmas is to get a Alabama Crimson Tide hoodie so that I can roast Isaiah here. I already have a Michigan jacket. I might wear that when Steven comes back on. That way I can roast him. Number 2, I want for Christmas, for my second wish list for Christmas, I want NBA bed sheets. And then my third would be a Mookie Betts jersey. Honestly, I mean, I. But anyways, here, folks, it has been a great show here. But Isaiah, my final thoughts on this show. It is a great, great show. And to those who are listening out there, I hope everybody has a wonderful Christmas and a happy and healthy holiday season and a happy, healthy 23. So, and also for announcements, folks, we are going to have our New Year's extravaganza next week. Be sure to tune in for that. Going to be a lot of fun. We will welcome in the new year together, and we will be doing that, and then we'll get the details figured out as soon as we can. And Isaiah, what are your final thoughts and announcements?
My final thoughts is that it was a great show. Glad to be on here with so many great friends that have been able to make the show what it's been so far. And I don't really get to see Shuram, Utkarsh, and Hamza a lot, so it was great to just see them like virtually. So that was great. Thank you to all the fans for tuning in. Hope all of you guys have a great Merry Christmas, great holidays. Eat a lot of great food. Hopefully you guys get what you want for Christmas, and hopefully the sports teams win that you want to see win. And also my last final thought is that, man, I can't wait, man. I cannot wait for the New Year's extravaganza. It's going to be so much fun. MI6, we relaunched it a couple of days ago. It's been such a success. And to be honest, I cannot wait to see Christmas. I mean, Christmas Day will be epic because you wake up, you go to get your presents, maybe have a Christmas breakfast, and then it's like, man, you got football, you got basketball, baseball might have some good stuff. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, crazy day, and I cannot wait, man. And hopefully get some great gifts for Christmas this year, and it's gonna be fun.
What about you, Utkarsh? What are your final thoughts?
Thank you for yeah. So I'm really excited about Christmas, like, and day after tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited for Christmas, like, yeah, the most special time of the year, which it's my favorite time of the year. Every year comes. It's just because it's my favorite time. At the time to get together. It's a time to like get together with friends, family, and and people who are like who we really like love. And that's what Christmas is all about. It's not really about it's more than just about presents. It's mainly about like getting like help like like spending time with others like who are close to you, and also not only that, like helping each other, helping one another, and that's what Christmas is mainly about. That's what I learned a lot.
What about you, Saram? What are your final thoughts?
Yes, thank you for inviting me on the show today. I really felt good being on here. Let's just say that this was a very good show, and and let's just say that to everyone, to all those out there, be with your family, go travel. That's what Christmas is all about. Okay, love is an abstract thing, and it's an abstract gift, and it's the best gift of all. So don't take that for granted.
What about you, Hamza? What are your final thoughts?
Well, I really feel happy around this time of year because first off, it's winter break. I don't have to go back for class until after the new year, thankfully. And I can't wait until the MI6 New Year show. Like I definitely want to be in it because I would like to be with you guys ringing in the new year.
It's going to be a great show, and then also Extra Point will be on Tuesday, where the whole team will pick our New Year's 6 along with our Week 17 picks. And Isaiah, what do you got here?
I got one more announcement that we didn't bring up earlier, but is that we're the MI6 Sports Network and the IM6 Sports Network, besides Extra Point, we're not going to be having Sports Weekly or the Midnight Express for the next couple of weeks. We're going to be on a holiday break, so no Sports Weekly, no Midnight Express until after the new year. We'll still have Extra Point, but Sports Weekly and Midnight Express will resume after the new year.
That's a good one right here. So, anyways, here, join us next Saturday night for the MI6 and IM6 New Year's extravaganza. Isaiah and I will be splitting the hosting duties for that, as I will do the East Coast portion of the show, and then Isaiah will do the West Coast portion of the show. So, anyways, here for Isaiah, for Ben, Utkarsh, Siram, and also Hamza, this is Loro signing off for now. You guys have a great Christmas, and we will see you for Extra Point Tuesday, and then next Saturday for the big New Year's extravaganza where we welcome in the new year. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you.